Welcome to DorkDuo. We're the Dorks. I am Adam, and this is Steve. And this week we are talking Daredevil, Batman v Superman, and other nerdly news. Because what in the world else would we be talking about? I mean, really.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the biggest thing to happen in a while. We've had to wait 3 years for Batman v Superman.
Yeah. Also, it's April Fool's Day today, not to date this episode or anything. So any and all news we find can be taken with mountains of salt.
Yeah. So
here at DorkDuo, we like to say that April Fool's is stupid.
I would like you all to appreciate the fact that this is April Fool's Day. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, April Fool's Day. So we're sitting here like looking for news articles and being like, we can't report on that.
Yeah. That's not going to be real.
Like, there's no way. Like,
Star Wars Netflix show, that's not going to be real.
Yeah,
that's
IGN is doing their Star Wars Netflix show, and I'm just like, nah, nope.
So very inconsiderate of them to not do that for us.
So if next week we find out that the Star Wars Netflix show is real by some staggering thing, like, then I will, eat my words. But I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we're safe to call that one a lie.
Yeah, so because of that, we have a relatively light news day today, but
plenty of gushing to do.
We have a lot of other stuff to talk about, so I'm not too worried. So because it's a light news day, we are not going to hold back in regards to our Daredevil and Batman and Superman reviews. And okay, I'm going to give a small spoiler warning. We might give away some spoilers. We won't spoil major events, like really important things.
Like those things we were about to spoil, yeah.
But we will do some of them. Like there are some things I do want to talk about that I'm going to spoil. So you've been warned, but not everything. So if you're okay with light spoilers, you can stick around. Okay? First thing we're going to talk about is Daredevil. That came out first. We were going to talk about it last week, but then we couldn't. So now we're going to talk about it now. So Daredevil. I have to I've been so busy thinking about Batman and Superman that I have to be like go back like a week and be Daredevil. Let's talk about that now. Okay, so Daredevil. Season 2 was good. Really good, I would say. Would you agree with that?
It was good.
It was good? Man, you are such a negative person. You drive me insane. Okay, what do you like, Steve?
Okay.
Let's talk about things we like.
First of all,
positives.
I think a lot of the B-roll characters came into their own a lot more. For example, Foggy actually turned into a character in the show. I
totally agree with you. Foggy in the first season was really just like the most generic thing ever, where he was just like, he was the sidekick character. He was the guy who was like, well, of course he has to find out. I'm going to spoil season 1. A little bit. Of course, he has to find out who Daredevil is, and then he has to be all angsty and be like, "Why are you doing this? Don't you care about me?" But yeah, I agree. This season, he really came into his own and actually started doing things on his own,
which is in a direct relation to one of the things I don't like about the show. But we're not doing negatives right now.
We'll come back to it.
Okay. So another positive thing is Punisher. And I liked Punisher more than I thought I was going to.
I loved Punisher. I thought Punisher was phenomenal. The first 4 episodes are like the Punisher episodes. Like, it would be super easy to like edit the first 4 episodes of the show into just like one kind of long movie and have it be like Daredevil versus Punisher. Like, it was it'd be the easiest thing in the world.
See, that's actually one of the things about this that I think is weird, because they didn't at all do what I thought they were going to do with that. See, how I envisioned the show unfolding was it was going to be Punisher was like the dark reflection of Daredevil, and they were constantly at odds, and Daredevil was like, no, I won't fall your way, and Punisher would be like, you have to, it's the only way, and then Elektra would show up and something would happen.
Elektra things.
Yeah, but that's not at all how it happened. Yeah. I was really surprised when they got caught. Spoiler alert.
At first, okay, so some slight spoilers. So there's a point where Punisher gets caught.
I thought for sure he was going to bust out in that next episode.
Yeah, so did I, but then he didn't. And it took a little while.
A trial and real, actual...
Which I actually thought was a phenomenal way for them to go, because it's like, like Daredevil as a character, he's basically like a low-budget Batman, but the real thing that's... really low-budget Batman.
Do you know how big Hell's Kitchen actually is?
It's like, what, 4 blocks or something?
It's like 10 blocks.
Yeah, I know.
Like, his entire gambit is basically just like... from one end of the street to the other.
I know.
If he was a child, he would have like 1 cul-de-sac's worth of terrain. That would be his domain. That
actually ties back into, I know we're trying to do positives, but just one small thing that kind of bothered me. There were some references to Jessica Jones, but I was really hoping for like a cameo. Just a really quick little like throwaway, like, oh, there she is, and that she's gone.
I really don't need them together.
I do.
I think they
but
work perfectly well doing their own thing in their own shows.
I'm so excited to have the 4 Defenders meet up and be the Defenders. Like, that sounds so cool to me. I want to see the interactions and stuff. So, like, with this season, when they just had, like just a few, couple, like, name drops, like, they actually say, like, like, what was it, Marcy, where she was just like, something about Jessica Jones.
Yeah, it was
like,
something about...
It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
like,
talking about lawyers or
yeah,
something.
they're talking about
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, because now Marcy from the first season is off working for Hogarth from Jessica Jones, and now so is Foggy, which is totally cool. But what I was going to say originally...
He's partner. He made partner first
I know,
day.
right? I was so happy for Foggy, but also sad about it. It was such a bittersweet thing. But what I was going to say was one of the really cool things about Daredevil that they explored a little bit was the fact that he is a lawyer and a vigilante. So he brings in, like, the whole first 4 episodes, he, is fighting against Punisher. He eventually does bring him in. And then he defends him in court. Yeah. That's such a cool idea. Yeah. A vigilante
Well, that's just like his deal, though.
I know. I know. And I really liked that they sort of did that. They just went for it.
Oh, another positive thing, just to go back to while we're on lawyers for a second. When like that DA lady showed up and she was trying to take care of everything, and then Foggy lays the smackdown lawyer talk on her, and I was like, yes.
It was
so
awesome. Oh my gosh.
That's like my favorite. And they do it like 3 more times.
Yeah,
Matt does
that
it too.
happens a few times.
Yeah, and it's
so great.
Shut up, lady.
Yeah.
Go read a lawyer book.
She really annoyed me a lot throughout the season, and to the point where when her arc was concluded, when her role in the show reached its peak, I was just like, whatever. Like I was just like, I don't care. You can go away.
You basically just gave the ending away without giving the ending.
I'm trying not to, but what do you want me to say? Like, I said we were going to be doing some spoilers here.
Whatever.
And she's not important anyway.
No, she's not.
She's so unimportant.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really annoyed me about her, is that she was just constantly there and fighting them the whole time, and I was just like, can we please get back to some other stuff? But another plus side, one of my more minor annoyances about the first season of Daredevil was the fact that Daredevil himself wasn't actually in it all that much. It was a lot of talking and just kind of talking about Daredevil and talking about being a vigilante, and Wilson Fisk talking a lot. Whereas this season they talked plenty, but there was a ton more violence.
Well, he's actually Daredevil.
Yeah,
now,
he's
though.
Full-fledged Daredevil. They call him Daredevil. He calls himself Daredevil, which is actually another small thing I didn't like. I didn't like when they didn't call him Daredevil. I didn't like when they kept referring to him every once in a while as the devil of Hell's Kitchen. I was just like, really? He's Daredevil. Just call him Daredevil. Come on. I think the devil of Hell's Kitchen worked fine in the first season because it made sense.
Well, it makes sense more now. He's actually owning that persona now.
I know.
He was just a dude in a Princess Bride mask before.
Yeah, yeah. But I really liked that this time he actually felt he was a real hero. He is full vigilante now. Whereas in the first season he was kind of halfway there,
Yeah.
1 foot
for his 10 square block.
Yeah, 1
perimeter.
foot in the door. Whereas now he's all in, and it's yes. Which actually ties back, and I'm really conflicted about this because I feel like one of the themes of this season was Matt Murdock kind of losing himself in the Daredevil persona.
See, that's one of the things I didn't like about the show. Matt himself becomes really unlikable through this entire show. I know that was on purpose.
That was the point. That was intentional. So
they
I'm not
succeeded
that
in
mad.
That,
yeah.
But I don't know. It's just I wanted to like him, and then they're doing everything they can to make me not want to like him.
Yeah, it's he kept sort of going more and more into being Daredevil and less Matt Murdock.
Which he was still a good Daredevil. I'm just saying.
He was a great Daredevil.
I'm not saying that they failed in what they were doing. I'm just saying I don't like what they were doing. I guess.
Yeah. Because you're not supposed to.
I know, and
that's
why
sad.
That's why I can't be that mad about
frustrating.
it.
Frustrating. The way he treated Foggy. When he screwed him over for the trial, and Foggy had to do the opening statement and everything,
which he killed,
which he nailed, because I loved Foggy, and that's why I was so annoyed when Matt kept dropping the ball constantly. He was the one who forced Foggy to take the trial, and then he didn't even show up, and he did no work for it.
How about when Foggy went to that biker bar, huh?
That was great.
Yeah,
that was really random though.
Yeah,
I felt kind of. I thought
that
was
has
going
to be
tie
a setup
back
for something else,
but then it didn't, and I was just like, oh.
Well, it sort of did later with Punisher, but it could have been literally anybody.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It was just like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, we haven't even talked about Elektra yet.
Which is what I was going to say next. That is the part I don't like the most about the show.
Is it just
Elektra
Elektra?
really didn't do it for me at all.
I don't agree. I thought so. The way that the show worked was like it was 3 arcs. It was kind of like a really long movie, a 13-hour movie. The first arc was just Punisher versus Daredevil, and then they brought in Punisher. The second arc was the trial, and also Matt falling more and more into the Daredevil persona because of Elektra. Elektra was like his drug, and he kept being pulled back. And I thought that part with Elektra was cool because I kind of liked the crazy, sexy, psychotic Elektra. That was kind of fun and like dangerous. And I was like, okay, this is all right. I didn't like her as much as Punisher by any means, or Daredevil. She was like the weakest of the 3 by far.
Well, okay, that's kind of the thing, right? All right, so she randomly shows up out of the blue, right?
Yeah.
And then I was happy to hear Matt go like, no, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
But then he wasn't done with her because he helps her that one time, and he keeps saying it's the last time.
It's literally like
but
he's addicted to
right,
her.
but I'm just saying, like, if he had just not done it the first time, then none of this would have happened. And then he would have had more time to spend with Foggy doing what he was supposed to be doing.
I know. That was
because
like,
Elektra ruins everything.
I totally got
like
what they were going for.
nothing positive happens because of Elektra.
I know.
Nothing.
No, I know.
Except saving Stick that one time.
Yeah.
And I like Stick, I guess.
I love Stick.
But
Stick is
that
great.
could have happened anyway.
Actually, I also like that Stick actually showed up more this season. Like in the first season, it was literally just 1 episode, and this season it was like 3 or 4 this time.
Yeah, well,
and I
he
was
had
like,
his own
yes.
little mini thing going there.
And that actually brings me to I thought the second arc where with the trial and with Elektra and Daredevil like investigating that one company, I thought that was okay. It got progressively less awesome as the series went on. The first arc was phenomenal. The second arc was pretty good. And the final arc, when they were dealing with the hand and Stick was there, like I love Stick and everything, but I thought the whole third arc was just a mess. It was confusing.
That's actually the thing, right? Because I was telling you about this before, but I didn't realize that was the last episode until there were no episodes after that. And I was like, oh, that was the finale. Well, that's confusing.
Yeah, it was just so unfulfilling. The thing I really liked about the first season was that like the mystical stuff, like the sort of world building stuff, was very minor. It wasn't crucial to the story arc.
Yeah, it was just background stuff.
It was just background stuff. Like it was like, Stick kills that one Black Sky kid, and you're just like, what's a Black Sky? And it's like,
more on that later.
Yeah,
kids.
more on that later. It's like, coming up next time. And it's like, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm intrigued. All right. And then this season we get a little bit more info on the Black Sky, but not really.
Not really, though.
Like it was just sort of like, oh yeah, there's another one. I don't want to spoil exactly who it is, but
and then there's a magic pot, and
then there's like this magic pot with
which
like
is obviously
ancient
supposed
lettering,
which is probably supposed to be ceremonial.
And I have
voodoo,
to
something.
point this out. So they're dealing with the hand in the final act, which is fine. I liked the idea of dealing with the hand. I just thought that they really poorly executed it, and one of the reasons was it really, really bothered me when Daredevil couldn't detect them because, so they're masking their heartbeats.
Yeah.
I was like...
First of all, how?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense.
You telling me they stopped their hearts?
Yeah, like what? Actually, I've heard rumors online that they were supposed to be vampires, like vampire thralls, and that like this might be a way for them to like throw Blade in there too, which would actually be kind of...
All right, I'll buy that, I guess.
If that is what they're going for, like that's okay, fine.
They seem to die like regular guys, though.
Not really, though, because remember how Claire was like looking at one of their bodies and they had like that big cut in their...
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. Point taken. Never mind.
Yeah. Which, again...
I totally forgot about that.
Which, again, like, all of this stuff is, like, it's really interesting and cool, but it's so unfulfilling. It's, like, because it was the central arc of the final third of the series, and nothing was properly explained. And it was just so, like, are you gonna give me anything? Like, I'm getting frustrated.
But how about that thing when Punisher goes into his little warehouse and paints his costume?
That was
first,
great.
And it's just like, yes,
do it. Yes,
I see it. Because like as soon as he turned around and saw like the black body armor, I was like, got it right there.
There it is.
Done. Cool.
Actually, but that ties into something else I didn't like. So in episode 12, Punisher finally becomes the full Punisher. He's painting the body armor. You see, they zoom in on like the minigun in that one area, and I was like, yes. And then in the last episode, without spoiling everything, he shows up for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like a minute or two.
To do the thing, yeah.
To do that one thing.
Well, okay,
but
obviously
he
they're
didn't
setting
even
it
use
up
the
for 3.
minigun.
Well,
he didn't even use I wanted to see him use the minigun. Like what in the world is this? Like I'm really annoyed about it. It's like, wait a second.
well,
like,
I'm okay. They're
you
obviously
teased
setting
me.
it up for 3. But like the thing I find weird about it is they're like pals now.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And like Daredevil
I think it's more of just like Daredevil isn't actively hunting him
I
anymore.
guess.
But like
But-
they're not like working together.
Well, I know, but he was so avidly against what he was
know.
doing, and then he had like that change of heart thing, which that was actually a good character moment on the boat there when he was like, okay, your way this one time kind of thing.
I actually really
that
liked
little
that.
back and forth there was
That
good.
was phenomenal because actually
But
that was so good. All right.
I don't get their alleged like newfound friendship because
yeah,
it's not really
it
based
doesn't
on
really,
anything.
It doesn't really work.
It's just kind of like, well, we had this common enemy, and Punisher sort of has like this respect for Daredevil.
That's actually that's what I really like about Punisher is that even though he's like this hardcore, like you know they need to be killed, he kind of respects Daredevil and what Daredevil's trying to do. He just doesn't think it's going to work.
Yeah, well,
like
half
he
measure. I
doesn't-
think is the
yeah. He called it a half measure. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't hate Daredevil. It's like he's trying to convince Daredevil, that his way is correct. But at the same time, he respects Daredevil's right to choose.
I don't know if he's trying to convince Daredevil.
I don't know either.
Because he didn't. It sounded a lot more like he was telling him to give up and go home than to
Almost,
actually.
I guess, yeah.
Because on the boat when Daredevil, spoiler alert, when Daredevil was like, okay, this one has
This
to
one
die
time,
this
yeah.
one time, and he's like, no, you can't do it just the one time. You either you do it
Yeah.
or you don't come back.
Yeah,
And
I
it's like-
really liked that because it's sort of like him just like giving him a warning, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way.
But that's what makes me feel like he doesn't want to convert him so much as he wants him to quit.
yeah, I
because-
guess that's kind of true. Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, you're probably right.
Because he seems more like a lone act, like I'll carry this cross on my own, and
Yeah.
then I'll die, and no one else has
he's
to.
almost like a Christ figure in a way, but they didn't like, unlike Batman v Superman, which we'll get to later. They didn't like pound in the Christness so much. Like,
Poor choice of words, Adam.
oh, God, you're right.
All right. Anyway, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but I would say that he's definitely supposed to be a martyr
yeah.
than nothing else.
Yeah. I was going to say earlier about the ninjas. So they're masking their heartbeats. Weird, but okay, fine. And then like there's that one point where Stick is like, you have to go deeper, Maddie.
Yeah.
You have to listen harder.
Mm-hmm.
And here I was thinking like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna like hear their muscles contracting or like hear like, something else like,
Yeah,
really small.
their
like,
cloth outfits or
their
something.
cloth outfit. Anything. No. They're breathing.
That's
They're
what I thought
breathing?
too. That's
What?
That's Ninja-ing 101 is masking your breathing.
Yeah, and it's just like they have to breathe sometime. I'm just like, they also have to have a heartbeat sometime
Yeah,
too.
yeah, especially all that flipping around they're doing.
Like,
That's-
what in the world? I was so like, it really, really ruined that moment for me because it would have been awesome, but I was just like,
Well,
like,
what else is there to
what?
listen for, though?
That's exactly it. Muscles contracting. Like that would have been such a cool idea because you're like, whoa, that's how much is
Also,
hearing used to
listening
be?
for their breathing or their heartbeat would not tell you where their punch was coming from.
I know.
It would just tell you where they were
and, like, the
located.
other thing that
Actually,
bothers-
I guess you could listen for their blood flow.
Like, this didn't bother me so much in the first season, but in the second season, his powers were weirdly inconsistent. Like
Who? Daredevil?
Daredevil. Like in like the first like episode, I think Daredevil was able to like scan the room in like the shootout area, and like he was able to find like a bullet hole like way across the room. That happened. And now these ninjas show up and he can't see them at all. How does that work? He's like a bat. He has like a 3D like sonic scan of everything. And what are they just invisible? Do all of
Yes, they're coated in that metal that doesn't reflect sonar waves, like the stealth bombers are made out of.
Yeah, is that really where we're going with this? Like, it just like I can get the heartbeat thing. Fine. Like they're cloaking their heartbeat. Maybe they're vampires.
I prefer the one where he listens for the swords. That's cooler.
Yeah, that was cool too. But then of course they stop using the swords.
Yeah.
And
How would they know?
I think
How would they
I
know
don't
that's
know.
what he was doing?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like this all of these questions I have just really, really hurt my love of the last third of the thing. But I do like that the season was chunked in those thirds. It made it so it wasn't as much of like a slog to get through.
Yeah.
You know, like the first day.
No, it was competently paced. I
It was
ending,
really
though.
well paced, actually. That's what I really liked about it. Like the first day on like Friday, I watched the first 4 episodes and then I went to bed because I was like, this is a good place to stop, you know. And then the next day I watched like the next like I don't know 4 or 6 episodes when like with the whole thing with Elektra, and then after that I did the final thing. It took me like 3 or 5 days to finish the whole thing, and I loved it. I liked the way that they spread it all out. That was great.
Why does Daredevil like Elektra so much? I know they have to do it for like tradition or whatever.
She's really, really hot. That's pretty much.
She's
it.
also insane.
Well,
very evidently.
But they do that from the very beginning. Like they
no,
talk
I
about.
I understand that. Like, okay, they had a thing, and then she tried to be crazy, and he broke it off. But she didn't stop being crazy. In fact, she's more crazy now, probably.
Yeah.
And she does that thing he doesn't agree with, where she murders people.
Yeah.
So
thing.
That should be like a real big turnoff. But he's basically just like, take me now, hot babe. I understand for the sake of tradition, they have to make her a thing.
And I
but
think they
in the
conveyed
context in the show, I don't see it personally. I don't see the chemistry there.
Especially when she first shows up, he wants nothing to do with her.
Yeah,
and
but he has a change of heart when they start kicking butt together, and it's like,
why?
If that's all what you need to get it up, I guess. But
I guess it's different because we're not him, because it is. Like it is like a drug for him. It's like someone he doesn't have to hold back with. He doesn't have to keep any secrets from. Someone who doesn't judge him.
Okay, that's all fair. I guess.
You know, like Foggy, like he's finally opened up a bit to Foggy, but Foggy is constantly bringing him down. He's constantly sitting there and saying like, "You shouldn't do this. This is wrong. Why don't you give it up?" But like Elektra is just like, "No, I love it." And he's like, "I love you."
Okay, that's fair.
I think that's what they're trying to go for.
I suppose it's not so much her as like a female that isn't constantly berating him for being Daredevil, I guess. Although, you know, she does kill people. He's not super down with that.
It sort of ties back into Daredevil's character, is that like he's constantly running the balance between light and dark. He's a guy who dresses up like a devil so that he can save the city. He's a guy who beats the crud out of, you know, bad guys left and right and loves it, but refuses to kill them because that would be morally wrong. Like he has this duality in him. He's constantly fighting with himself.
I don't know that he likes beating up the guys.
No, he definitely does. He definitely enjoys it.
Well, okay, I think he more so likes cleaning up the street than the actual beating up of the guys.
I don't agree with that. I think he does enjoy the violence of it. And I think he likes being a superhero. He likes it.
Okay, yeah. I think that part, just the identity of superhero-dom, is the part that gets him, not necessarily like punching a dude in the street, because he could just do that. Like he's blind, he could get away with it.
He's the classic Catholic. Like he's constantly like, you know, holding himself back, but you know, he wants to give in to his darker desires, not just sexually, but like, you know, all the violence and other stuff too. But he's holding himself back, and he's like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. But Elektra is like fueling him and saying, "No, do it." And he's like, "This is really hard," in more than one way.
Thank you,
All
Adam.
right. Sorry.
I thought it, but I wasn't gonna say it.
I had to.
Okay.
Anyway.
So whatever. I'm not a big fan of Elektra, but I like Punisher.
I understand why you wouldn't be a fan of Elektra, because she played a really annoying role in the season. I thought she played the part well.
Yeah, no, nothing against her, just how they wrote her. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, how they wrote her, it was like, okay.
And again, I know it's probably chalked up we're not supposed to like her.
No.
But again, they succeeded in that.
Yeah. They did a good job with what they were trying to convey, but they almost did too good of a job, where it got frustrating. Kind of like how, you know, Matt is constantly not being the person we want him to be.
Yeah, in this season. How about that one thing he did at the end, though, huh?
Oh, you mean with Nobu? Or,
no. What's her face?
Oh, you mean with Karen?
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Karen. That was something.
Yeah, which is extra confusing because I totally thought that, again, that wasn't the finale, and I was like, cool. How's she gonna react next episode?
Nope.
Oh.
Yep. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really. Guess I'll wait.
I'm really curious if they're gonna do the Defenders next. Like I don't know what. Netflix is really secretive about their scheduling for these shows, because I think, honestly, that is kind of up in the air. I don't think that they have decided yet, like, where they're going to go with it. We know that they're going to do the Defenders, but I don't think even they know when exactly. The next one's going to be Luke Cage, and that is in September. And I think after that, there's a bunch of different ways they can go. After Luke Cage, are they going to do Jessica Jones Season 2? Are they going to do Daredevil Season 2?
Well, first they have to write Jessica Jones Season 2 and come up with a new villain that they didn't deal with already.
Well, we know that Jessica Jones is getting a Season 2. And Daredevil hasn't technically been renewed yet, but I know it will.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it. So
it's the flagship one.
I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to get a Season 3. I just don't know exactly when. But, like, that's the thing.
Basically, if any other show fails, they'll just put that character in Daredevil. Because Daredevil will be the one to make it out of this mess, if any.
Yeah,
of them
he's gonna if the Defenders just completely bombs and everyone hates it, they're still gonna keep Daredevil.
Even Jessica Jones, which we agreed was better in its own way than Daredevil was, is it's a very different kind of thing.
It's very
different. I feel like that's not for everyone, so it might not survive as long as Daredevil will. Because Daredevil's a much more generic superhero.
Actually, I was thinking about it recently. I don't really know how I feel about Jessica Jones getting a Season 2.
I don't really want it to. I think it's
kind
perfectly
of
concise.
Don't. I absolutely love Jessica Jones, and I still think that Jessica Jones is better than Daredevil, but I don't really want more because I feel like if I get more and it's not exactly perfect, it's going to ruin the whole thing for me.
Well, that's just it. They did the story arc already. They
Yeah.
did the one big thing that everybody knows about, and that was like they already killed off, spoiler alert, the main villain. It's been a while.
Yeah,
they already killed off
it's been
Purple
a while.
Man, and he was like the best villain.
Yeah, he is her villain.
Yeah, not to mention that he was awesome.
Yeah,
he was,
and he was so perfect and wonderful.
So
yeah.
like, I can't imagine anything they do from that's got to be a step down.
Okay, wait. One last thing I want to talk about before we're done with Daredevil. What did you think of Wilson Fisk showing up again?
Really didn't care.
Really?
Really
oh
didn't
my
care.
gosh, I loved it so much.
I was like, oh good, he's coming back. I know he's coming back as Kingpin because they used the word
they
Kingpin
literally
like 6
call
times.
him Kingpin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, and I was like, oakley dokley. But I kind of wish that Matt had done something when he went to see him, instead of just standing there and taking the abuse.
I think he was trying not to let him know that he's Daredevil.
I know, but I kind of almost wish that he had done something or hit him with the legal speak or something,
Yeah, well, he did hit him with the
I
legal
know, and then it
speak,
didn't work,
and
but
then
he
it
should have
was-
kept his cool.
Yeah.
Because he didn't keep his cool very good.
I think that's kind of the idea is like he was terrified.
Yeah.
Like they kind of reinforced in that scene like Kingpin is crazy powerful and like right in that moment there was nothing that Matt could do.
Yeah.
Like he was just completely like at this guy's mercy and it was terrifying for him and us. And
Yeah.
I loved that scene like so much when Matt's like going to town talking about you'll never see her again. And then Fisk is just like snaps off the bracelets or whatever, and he's just like holding thank you, the handcuffs, and he's just
his accessories,
like, screaming at him, just like I will destroy you, and I was just like, oh my god, whenever season 3 gets here, cannot be soon enough because this is gonna be amazing. Like I'm so psyched for it. Plus, I loved Punisher and Kingpin's interactions. Like I loved it. Mostly just because I loved Punisher, but
Yeah, I actually wasn't that crazy about those ones.
Really?
I get why it happened, and I'm whatever about
the scene
it.
The scene where the episode where Punisher meets Kingpin, and then spoiler warning again, he leaves at the end. He escapes with Kingpin's help. That's probably my favorite episode of the show yet. Like that single episode was just so perfect. And then Punisher had that amazing fight scene in the hallway with like all the prisoners. And he's like just stabbing dudes left and right. Like it was crazy. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. So now
I think we're successfully. Do you want to?
Let's do a review of it. So I'm gonna go for 9. I'm thinking.
Wow, that's ambitious.
I'm thinking now. Well, because I think that the first like 2/3 were really really good, and the last third kind of stumbled a bit. Never got bad, but it just kind of stumbled, and wasn't as good as I was hoping for. But I still think the show was really really good, and I still think that Punisher was so good that I would go for 9. I'm willing to go down a little bit. But
I'll give you 8.
I think at least 8.5.
I'll give you 8.
Not even 8.5.
No, 8.
8.
8. Punisher was good, and the side characters were good. But Daredevil was a lot more unlikable, and Elektra was a lot more unlikable.
That was the
brought
point.
everything. I know, but it brought everything down for me.
I want to fight about this 8.5. You're not gonna give me the 8.5?
Fine. If it'll shut you up, I'll give you the 8.5.
8.5. Okay, it's been decided.
Right. Begrudgingly so. Hooray.
Well, that's the whole point.
Adam cries and gets his way again.
Neither of us are supposed to be happy about it. I wanted to go for 9, but you don't want to do that.
I can't be held responsible for your childish naivete.
I actually reviewed Daredevil season 2 already on You Nerded.
And did you give it a 9?
I gave it a 9.
Of course you did.
I did indeed. So,
Congrats.
but
They're not going to send you anything.
But DorkDuo is 2 people. We have to come to a consensus. So if you think 8 and I think 9, we have to meet in the middle. Say 8.5.
Fine, 8.5.
It's 2 people. So yeah.
Okay.
All
Whatever
right.
you got to rationalize it. Let's just move on.
All right. So now
B versus S. Let's
here we go. BVS. Let's do this. Wow, is this movie? Wow, this movie is
jeepers.
This movie is so
Dense.
dense. Thank you. That's the exact word I was looking for. There's so much happening. It's like all these wheels turning. And while I think that it was relatively successful with what it was trying to do, its biggest fault was trying to do so much. If they had just slow it down, Warner Brothers, slow it down. Like you should have, if they had split this movie into 2, or if they just done some of these storylines later, it would have been
the thing, right?
so
Like
much better movie.
It's paradoxically dense as all heck, but also tells you nothing.
Yeah, the whole movie just feels like it's spinning its wheels. You know, it's just like, okay, let's just set everything up as quickly as humanly possible.
Good one. Quickly.
Yeah, really, really, really quickly. Like, it was just like, okay, all right. Did I like it? Yes, I did like it. It was an enjoyable thing to watch, and I would watch it again. But I think that anyone who says that this movie is perfect is kidding themselves. Anyone who said, even if you like this movie, which I do, you have to admit that it has fundamental and undeniable flaws.
Yeah.
Like,
not going to fight you on that one. That is true words.
Let's
talk about some of them, shall we?
Sure. So,
did you want to do goods and bads again, or do you
let's
just want
do goods and bads. That's a good way to do it.
All right. So why don't you start with your goods?
Goods, Batman.
Absolutely.
Everything about Batman.
Yeah.
His costume was phenomenal. His armored costume was phenomenal.
You need a thesaurus really bad, Adam.
Do I?
You said phenomenal like 6 times
Fine.
since we started.
It was
Exemplar.
fantastical. It was really, really good.
Wow.
Whatever.
So glad they sent you to college for that.
I thoroughly enjoyed Batman and everything about Batman. I thought that the costume was perfect. I thought that the acting was pretty much what I expected, and I couldn't think of how it could have been better.
I think he was a better Batman than Bruce Wayne. Not to say he was a bad
I would agree
Bruce
with
Wayne,
that.
but he was a much better Batman.
I would say that if I had to rank them, I would say he's probably my favorite live action Batman, but I would say Christian Bale is my favorite live action Bruce Wayne. I really
second only to Adam West.
No. No. And I know a lot of people are really loyal to Michael Keaton from way back when, but that one was it was before my time. I've seen it, yes, but I don't know, it didn't hold much of anything for me. It was just like, oh, okay, fine.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
No? Yeah.
I try to stay away from all the old Batman movies.
Yeah, well, you might accidentally watch Batman Returns.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Or watch
stay
Batman
away from
and Robin. So
yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, you have seen those?
I've seen those. Yeah.
Why have you seen those?
You have to. It's a rite of passage.
Anybody who loves comic book movies, you have to see Batman and Robin at least once.
Hey, Adam.
What
killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
Oh, good stuff.
So horrible.
Anyway, back to this Batman movie.
Yeah, to this one.
Yeah, okay. Another good thing.
Sure.
I think that as far as the plot, I suppose,
yeah.
how they were setting it up to is the
for
reason for the
why
conflict.
they're fighting.
I think that was written okay.
It worked.
It was presented the best way it could have been. I can't say it's good without giving the qualifiers for why it's bad. So
okay, so without giving
the idea was good.
The idea was good. I did like the fact because one of the things that a lot of people were talking about was if Superman really wanted to kill Batman, he could do it in about 2 seconds. It would take him 0 time. Just laser his face off and it's over. It's done. I thought they did a really good job of establishing why, yes, they're fighting, but Superman isn't trying to all-out kill Batman, because if Superman's trying to all-out kill anybody who isn't also a Kryptonian or some other crazy, powerful entity, he will kill them.
Pretty thoroughly.
Yeah,
yes.
Thoroughly.
Powderized. Yes.
Yeah, they will be dust. So I think that they did a good job giving us, I don't want to spoil it because it's a huge part of the movie, but giving us the reason why he didn't want to actually kill Batman.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. And in the same time, I would say that they did a good job telling us why Batman would want to take down Superman.
Yeah, I actually think that part was another reason why this Batman was really good, but just also the structure of the movie, because his reasoning for not liking Superman is actually completely logical.
Yes.
And also pretty well executed.
It's well done. I really like that too. And I have to say this. Okay, so some spoilers. So Batman kills.
That's actually a really big spoiler, Adam. Maybe we should have
Hey, it's not
get that
that
little more,
big of a.
We'll
No,
give that
it's
more
not.
ceremony, though.
Well, they don't give it ceremony
No, they
in the
don't.
movie.
But
so
I
have to reflect
But
that.
I actually like that about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll give that a little explanation. Batman actually does kill people in this movie.
Yep.
But he doesn't go around murdering folks.
No.
He kills them because he doesn't go out of his way to not kill them, I suppose is how we should.
He tries to not kill them, but if he has to, he'll do it when the need arises.
Like when he's fighting dudes, he's still going for like punches and kicks and knocking guys out.
Yeah.
But like if somebody's shooting bullets at him, he's not gonna not jump behind a guy to take the hits for him instead, because like it's like you were saying, like Arkham Asylum Batman goes out of his way to find ways to not kill people,
and it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the thing that a lot of people are pissed about this, and I understand why, because it is an important part of Batman's character. But I think they're trying to make this as realistic as they can. They're trying to make this, seem like something that could actually happen. Let's be real here. Arkham Batman is completely unrealistic. Okay, Arkham Batman runs dude over in a car going 80 miles an hour and then electrocutes them, and then we are told, oh no, they just got knocked out by electricity, and they weren't turned into mush when they were hit by a car going 80 miles an hour.
Their bones weren't
insane.
liquidated.
It's ridiculous. At least in this movie, they're like, okay, he tries not to kill. But sometimes that happens, being a vigilante.
Yes.
And we can't act like it doesn't.
And I like that they don't call attention to it at all.
Yeah, I like that too.
I think it would only make the movie suffer if they were like, oh, I did it again, or I shot a dude, or whatever.
I think it would have been
I feel like if you just don't,
if they had done that.
because it doesn't ever draw attention to it, so you're just kind of left to wonder a couple times. But it's like when he's flying around in the Batmobile and he shoots at a car and it explodes, you can't just go like, I'm sure that guy just bailed out. Like that guy burst into flames, he's dead.
Yeah.
But that's they're bad guys.
Yeah, it happens.
I know it's not a Batman thing to do, but in the context of this dark movie they're trying to make, then it works just fine.
I agree. And the other thing about it that really bothers me...
And that's me saying that.
The other thing about this that really bothers me is that almost every single live-action Batman has killed. Everyone always talks about Michael Keaton's Batman and how wonderful he is, and it's like, oh my gosh, he's so great. He straps a bomb to a guy's chest and then kicks him down a sewer pipe, and the guy dies and explodes. Okay?
No. He rolled out of the way.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Did he now? Like we can't sit here and pretend that didn't happen. It happened. No one was up in arms back then, and people nowadays are still not up in arms about it. Okay, this is not the first Batman to do so, and when people get so mad about it, it really bothers me. And this is another thing I have to say, because I've been reading this a lot. People don't seem to understand why Batman was trying to take down Superman, and I don't understand why. Some people were saying Batman is trying to take down Superman because Superman killed Zod, or because Superman killed all those people in Metropolis. And it's like, yes, to not the Zod thing, but in the Metropolis thing, yes. And people say that because Batman kills too, that invalidates Batman's entire argument. No. Yeah. No, it does not.
No.
Batman's
not trying to take down Superman because he killed people. He's trying to take Superman down because if he wanted to, he could annihilate the planet.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
He's too dangerous to not be checked.
Batman occasionally will kill people, not intentionally, but when the need arises to protect for the greater good, for the greater good of crime. He's trying to protect the rule of law. He's trying, he's trying to protect people.
Although this Batman's more vengeance than justice, but he
is.
Yeah, but that's whatever.
But that's always on a small scale.
Yeah.
Superman is on an entirely different level, and that's why Batman's trying to take him down. If Batman gets really, really mad and goes on a killing spree, or if any human does, you can take him down. At most, they're going to take out like a city or two, a regular person,
Yeah.
But if Superman gets really, really mad and goes on a rampage, he will literally kill everybody. And without like kryptonite or something, there is absolutely nothing anybody could do to stop him. And that is Batman's argument. He has to take him down for the whole of society on the offside chance Superman becomes evil. Yeah. That was what he was saying.
Which is a pretty reasonable argument considering every other Kryptonian turned out to be evil on the Earth.
It's not a stretch. It makes absolute sense.
Who is saying that?
Some people I was reading on comments and stuff, and it's just ridiculous. So it's or some YouTubers too that I was watching. People kept saying that, and I was really getting mad about it because I'm just like, you did not understand what Batman was saying. Like, Batman literally said this, like, explicitly, against to Alfred.
When Alfred
he's
was
just
like, "What's the deal?"
If there is a 1% chance that he's going to go on a rampage, we have to take it as an absolute certainty and take him down now while we still can. Like, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Did you want to move on to the bads now? Because I have a bad lined up for that.
Sure, go ahead.
So,
there's plenty of bads.
I know. So one of the things that was the most annoying, and it has to do with that thing you were setting up right there, is they were beating to death this gods versus man thing. They would not let it go.
Yeah,
Lex Luthor, or Alexander Luthor, as he actually is, was beating that to death.
Yeah,
like,
it got really
He was
annoying.
beating it to death like Joker beats Robin. like 9 times. He just offhandedly mentions that, the angels and demons and whatnot.
It reminds me of, because I watched Man of Steel over the weekend before this to sort of remember. Man of Steel, they're constantly hammering home how important Superman is. And they're constantly saying, like, you're going to change the world. Everything's going to change. Is it true? Yes, it is true. But it's so lofty and it's such like this big ideal that it takes Superman seems less like a character and more just like this entity,
omnipotent force.
Yeah, he's like this just this omnipotent thing. And I don't know, I'm very conflicted on Man of Steel, kind of like I am in this movie, because everyone treats him like this omnipotent being, like, you know, how can we even compare him? And all that's true, but Superman at his core, and I think that's what they were trying to convey, like, subtly. Like, they weren't going overt with this. Superman is a person. He's just a guy. He's doing the best he can, but he makes mistakes. He doesn't always have the right answer. He's just trying, like he hears from far away, like, that his girlfriend is in peril. And I'm trying to not do spoilers here, but he hears his girlfriend from far away that she's in peril. If you heard that the person you loved was in danger, and you had the ability to help her, would you? And I think most people would say yes.
Well, that's an inexact parallel, because nobody suffers from that.
What do you mean? Wait, what?
If he goes and saves her, how is that a problem?
Well, because he's on such a different. Because at the beginning of the movie, it kind of set it up with the whole.
Oh, you mean the opening thing?
The opening thing. I'm talking about the opening thing.
Okay.
Like, people get really mad about it because it's like, because he caused. Okay, I'm trying to not spoil too much here. He causes an international thing.
International incident.
Yeah, he causes an international incident, and that's all I'm gonna really go into here.
Yes. And then basically the plot of this is can Superman be held accountable to the laws of man, because he's clearly way above them.
And it's really an interesting conversation that the movie is having with itself, and it's kind of fun. The biggest problem that this movie has is it never really answers the question.
No, it really doesn't.
It's
all
just
it does. Okay, you have Lex Luthor there saying that, man versus God kind of. Okay, to derail for a second. For everybody who's at home who's seen Watchmen, it's Mr. Manhattan versus Rickshaw. Rorschach. Sorry, Rorschach. Not Rickshaw. Rorschach. It's that again. It's gritty man versus omnipotent being he has no chance of defeating, because he believes that thing can't, have all the power or whatever.
Yeah.
And the all-powerful being just doesn't understand why he won't, stop his fruitless efforts and all that nonsense.
Yep.
It's the same movie.
Yeah, it really is. There is a lot of similarities between this movie and Watchmen, which is
even more omnipotent.
Yeah, with even more omnipotent conversations.
Yeah.
The movie
gets really annoying.
The movie raises so many philosophical questions, and I would say that most of them are well deserved. They're interesting questions, but it doesn't really resolve them. Most of them.
It just addresses them.
It just kind of points out this is such an interesting thing, and it's like, yes, it is. Are you going anywhere with this? And the movie's like, not really.
No. But how about that?
Yeah.
Pass the weed,
It's just all over the place. And that actually ties back into one of my problems with the movie. So I'm going to give small spoilers here, but I'm going to try to rely on the trailers. So there's a point in this movie, and I'm going to point out one of the major flaws with this movie, which is that it bounces around constantly.
Yes.
It's constantly just scenes just kind of happen out of nowhere. And you're just like, whoa, where are we now?
Yeah.
What's going on?
The problem is that this movie has a nasty habit of Scrubs cutaway scening all the time.
Yes.
But because Batman has 4 different dream/hallucination things.
Okay, like I'm gonna point out. Some people say like, "What do you mean editing issues? What do you mean it's confusing?" Okay, I'm just gonna give you a concrete example, and it's not gonna spoil anything major. So, we've all seen that one. We have all seen in the trailers that one scene where they're all like at this party, right? They're all in their regular people clothes, and they're at this party doing their party thing, and then Superman. Hears Batman doing some Batman-esque things, with his super hearing, and he starts to follow Batman. And then Superman turns, and Batman goes down this left to this one corridor. Then Superman, he kind of looks to the right, and then he sees a TV screen. And on the TV screen is like these people in peril. They're like, there's like a house that's on fire in like Mexico or something. And then instead of concluding this thing he was doing with Batman, where he was like being like, "What's this guy doing?" Superman just flies off, goes to save these people in Mexico, and then they launch into this sort of montage of Superman saving a bunch of people, like he's holding like this satellite and doing all this other stuff, while they have like news clips of different like talking heads talking about Superman. Like they have Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they have
Neil Smoke deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, wait, what?
Neil Smoke deGrasse Tyson.
Neil, what? I don't
Neil
understand.
Smoke the Grass Tyson.
Oh my God, Smoke the Grass. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, like they have Neil deGrasse Tyson. They have a couple other philosophers talking about Superman and cut in with Superman saving people. Now, that scene, like the montage, isn't a bad scene. And the scene where Superman is investigating Batman isn't a bad scene. But they're completely unrelated to each other. And they happen minutes from each other, seconds from each other. Like things just happen willy-nilly all over the place. And it's just like, okay, where are we? Where are you going with this? And the answer is absolutely nowhere. Nowhere at all.
Yes,
it's just...
The unfortunate part about this little narrative they built here is that the first like hour and a half is all exposition, but not for this movie.
Yeah.
It's like set up for the entire rest of the series they're trying to make. And there's that one thing in the Batcave that we can't talk about because you need to see it for yourself, but it's really confusing, has absolutely nothing to do with the plot of this movie.
We can talk about it a little bit. We can do a little bit here because I want to talk about parts of it. So we've seen in the trailers that one dream or it's not
the desert scene.
The desert scene in the trailers. So that when that scene happens, it just comes up and okay, spoiler warning. It was a dream, or maybe it was a vision. We're not really clear what it was. Also,
there were parademons there.
Yes, there were parademons.
I don't know if you remember, like
there was the Omega
years ago.
There was an Omega symbol on the ground.
And that was probably Darkseid who flew down from the sky that one time for a couple seconds. But we can't confirm that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just... Was that scene interesting? Oh, it absolutely was. I really wanted to see that scene. But it just happens out of nowhere, and then Batman wakes back up. This one thing happens we can't really talk about, even though I really, really want to.
Yeah.
And then they just go back to this whole Superman versus Batman thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like that scene was really interesting, and it set up a lot of really cool stuff, but it wasn't addressed in any way.
Yeah, you built it all up and then gave me nowhere to
like
no
nothing. Batman didn't even talk about it with anybody. He seemed to not even register it. Like it seemed like almost we saw it and he just forgot about it within a few seconds. It was really weird.
Now we can't tell you what happened, but suffice it to say that there may be possible futures happening all at once in sort of a multiverse sort of deal.
Yes.
And my theory, or I suppose I haven't read anybody else's theory, but I'm sure they came to the same conclusion. My theory is that all of these visions Batman's having are possible futures that could happen, and
I would agree
the
with
thing
that.
is to prevent them from happening. Now, we have no proof of that because, again, none of these things were fulfilled. We just got introduced to them out of nowhere,
yes,
and then they disappeared into the night.
See,
but,
this is literally my biggest complaint about this movie, because I would not say that this movie is a bad movie. I would say that this movie is extremely poorly edited. Like, really, really frustratingly, confusingly edited.
Who actually wrote this movie?
A couple of people.
Okay, so it wasn't, what's his name?
Snyder? It wasn't Snyder.
Okay.
No.
I was going to say, because what this movie seems like is that the guys from atop of DC Olympus came down to the writing staff, and they delivered on them the commandments that said, you have to include all of these people, all of these things, and do it in this order, and it has to be one movie.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's impossible. And they said, are you going to argue? And I said, no, sir.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And then they made this 2.5-hour cutscene of mess.
Yeah,
that's just hardcore exposition.
Yeah.
With no payoff.
I would say that none of the scenes on their own are bad. Like they all do introduce some interesting concept. They I want to see all of the scenes that happen. It's just I didn't want to see them in that order. I wanted it to tell a cohesive, interesting story and not leave a bajillion different things hanging in the wind. And we're just sort of like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What was
because
the point of all
last
this?
20 minutes of this movie is awesome, but it takes you forever to get there. Okay, actually, you know what it feels like. Actually, it feels like there was a Batman movie and a Superman movie that they just happened to appear in each other's movies. And what they did was they took all the boring half of both of those movies, cut them together, and made one beginning exposition chunk out of it, and then they just made a fight scene at the end of it.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Because both of their stories are basically independent of each other, except for their driving motivation to stop each other.
This movie attempts to be a Batman solo movie. Like it's sort of like working in elements of a Batman solo movie, a sequel to Man of Steel, a Justice League movie, like a setup for a Justice League movie, a movie where Batman and Superman fight each other, and I don't know, something about Lois Lane.
Yeah, whatever about her. Oh,
Whatever,
actually, I have one more good thing I do want to say.
Okay.
As many of you probably recall, we were really upset about how they were going to try to fit all these characters into the movie.
Oh yeah, we were really.
They probably did it the most tactful way they could.
Surprisingly, that was the thing I had the least amount of problems with.
How they basically did it was Lex just has files on metahumans, so you got to see 30-second camera footage clips of some of the other metahumans, like Aquaman,
so you
Flash.
you see Cyborg, Aquaman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. But
who was actually in the movie, but she was also part of that. It
wasn't a video clip of Wonder Woman. It was just like a picture, and then the Wonder Woman was just in the movie, which actually ties back into another thing, is that Wonder Woman... I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I thought she was really interesting. I liked her, the actress. I thought it was really cool. She had no purpose in the movie.
No,
she couldn't. She absolutely did not need to be there.
All she did was slow the plot at specific points that was not needed.
Yeah,
and then contributed nothing to the end.
Did I enjoy?
Technically, she was there for the fight, but they could have just written it without her.
Yes, they could have.
She was only there to set up the Trinity.
She was very shoehorned in. And did I like I said, did I enjoy seeing her? Yes, a lot actually. It was really cool finally to see Wonder Woman on the big screen. That was really awesome. Did I need her in this movie? Absolutely not. I could have waited for the Wonder Woman solo movie. I was cool. I could have waited for the Justice League movie for her to team up with all the rest of them. That's cool. Fine.
And I have a lot of problems with the ending, but I don't think we should talk about them because
I don't even know if we should even touch it. Yeah,
big spoiler warnings.
So many spoilers.
So we'll just leave it at this. You know how that trailer had Doomsday in it?
Yeah.
It's just as stupid as you think it is.
Yeah, it's really dumb. The Doomsday thing is.
And yes, it was Doomsday.
It was Doomsday. It was.
And yes, it was made from
Lex Luthor actually did call him Doomsday. It was really dumb. And yeah, so it was Doomsday. It was just as stupid as we thought it was going to be. And
I actually was reading a thing about plot holes in this movie, which is hilarious because there are quite a few of them. But this is one I thought was really interesting. So Lex Luthor essentially makes Doomsday to kill Superman. Yes, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
What is his plan after that?
I had the exact thought while I was watching the movie. I was sitting there thinking, Lex did a really good job, putting everything together and, instigating the fight between Batman and Superman. Okay, cool, fine, that's fine. And then it's and then he made Doomsday. And I'm like, okay, why? And it's well, he has to take down Superman. He has to fight to kill Superman. Yeah. It's but if he did kill Superman, if your plan succeeded, and if he killed Superman, what happens after that? Now you have an uncontrollable rage monster
running around.
At least with Superman, you could talk to him and reason with him.
And also, if this guy kills Superman, clearly he's more powerful than Superman, and you were struggling to get rid of him. So
yeah,
I don't know what your long-term goal was here.
I don't understand that at all.
And yeah, Lex is a sociopath or whatever, or psychopath or whatever the proper term is for crazy cuckoo.
We have to talk about Lex. We haven't even talked about Lex yet.
Oh yeah, Lex sucks.
Yeah, he really does. Like,
For the record, though, for those who haven't seen it yet, Lex in the movie is not actually Lex Luthor, the bald guy that you're probably familiar with.
Yep.
It's actually his kid. So it's an entirely different character. The bald Lex doesn't actually even appear in the movie, although apparently he's from East Germany.
He's dead.
Apparently he was around in communist Germany. So,
so yeah, Lex in the movie. I honestly just... I kind of wanted to like it. Like I almost wanted to like give Jesse Eisenberg a shot, but it was just so dumb. It was just boring and stupid and confusing and like it felt like what this movie was, what Lex was in this movie was like classic Mark Hamill Joker mixed with Lex Luthor, mixed with Arkham Riddler. It was like those three, if you like stirred them into a pot together, and then created
because he has like narcissism disorder
he's
or
a
whatever.
narcissist.
Yeah, he's got that like hardcore,
like
and he's got wicked daddy issues,
like Joker,
lots of villains,
and actually most of them,
lots of villains.
Yeah,
but he has like. He's just crazy for the sake of being crazy to give him validation for being the villain.
Yeah.
Because, he wants to take out Superman because, he can't be trusted in, space gods from the sky. But, like, his only real motivation for getting rid of Superman is because Superman is stronger than him.
Yeah,
which
pretty much
admittedly is kind of what regular Lex's deal is.
Much.
But Lex is a pragmatist. He's a practical guy who's good at manipulating and all of that. He works from the inside. Mm-hmm. This Lex is basically just like blackmail Lex.
Yeah.
Which, works in bald Lex's repertoire as well, but he's classier about it, and it works for him. Yeah, it really... This guy just... I don't know. He's got that off-putting kind of crazy where it's like he's not crazy enough to be like he's not crazy like one of those people who runs around under subways and talks to themselves crazy.
He's kind of like that.
Kind of, but he's more like the crazy where like you don't want to be in the same room with him because he doesn't want to talk about anything but like how great he is and how his dad was mean to him.
Pretty much, yeah. Like he's so many different things. He's so many different villain archetypes at once that he's none of them.
He's a perfect metaphor for the movie, actually. He's really busy.
Yeah, there's so much going on with him where he's like being different. Like in some scenes it works and he's intimidating, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. Like I actually liked the scene where he and the senator were talking and about like the jar of piss and everything.
What did he say was the you know what the greatest lie in America is, Senator? What is the line he said? Because I've heard it in the trailer 20 times.
The greatest lie in America, Senator, is that power can be innocent.
Okay, I could not understand that last word ever.
Oh, really?
I heard it in the trailer a million times. I heard it in the movie.
The greatest lie in America is that power can be innocent. Okay. That's what he says.
Yes.
Like, does he work? Like, does Lex work sometimes? Yes, but he's not consistent in any way, and his plan really doesn't make sense when you get right down to it. Specifically, the doomsday part of his plan. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No,
and it's really, really frustrating because I really wished it did. Now, I've read some things that apparently what he was planning on doing was he was trying to like cause this kind of big cosmic event to happen, so to try to usher in.
Right. No, I get it because his thing at the end where I guess moderate spoiler, he gains control of the crashed ship from
Man of Steel.
Yeah, he basically does what the Superman from the Lex Luthor from the other Superman movie does when he went to the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
and just learns a bunch of space information. And what people are assuming is he's trying to do is trying to initiate those events that he learned about.
Yeah,
but like.
But
we, the viewer, don't know that.
Like, if they explain it later, and it's just like, oh no, the reason he created Doomsday is because that would cause some kind of like cosmic ripple to occur that would then like bring someone in.
He's trying to get the universe's attention.
Yeah.
But again, okay, let's say that for Darkseid, for example, let's say Darkseid gets the ping and he's like, oh, there's some cool stuff going on Earth. I'll head over there. You basically have to wait for Doomsday to blow up half the Earth before Darkseid's like, huh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll pop over and see what's what.
It really doesn't make sense.
Like, that's such a dumb long-term plan.
Was Lex's plan, and there's no way he could have done this. Is the movie trying to tell me that Lex's plan was to have Superman and Doomsday like take each other out?
That is
what his
how it
plan
happened
was?
in the comic. They both did actually die in the comic. Like
In the comic?
They killed each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I learned that actually from you because I didn't actually know, because I don't really read the comics, but I should. I'm gonna try to start, but I'm working on that. But like, it was his plan for them to take each other out because that's like one of my biggest annoyances with any movie villain is when they plan for things that happen that they could not possibly plan for. There's so many circumstances going into
there's the circumstantial victories of like, I assume that this person will do this thing at this time, and if they don't, well, my plan's ruined. But they're definitely going to do it, so it's fine.
Yeah. Now, the one thing again, I did actually enjoy watching this movie. It is a mess of a movie, but there's a lot of really good parts in it. A lot of there's so many moving pieces that some of them really work well, like Batman and like the fight and some other parts too. But the one thing that this movie did really well, surprisingly for me, was despite all the problems with this movie, I walked out of this movie really, really excited for where the universe could be going, where these movies could be leading.
Okay,
I
guess,
yeah.
All right, I guess that's a good point. Did you want to like give our final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think we're kind of concluding
so
here.
First of all, let me be blunt about it. This was not the movie they needed to make.
No. I think that's undeniable.
They needed a Hail Mary, and they did not get it.
No.
This was not the success they required.
No,
now, not at all. That being said, I still came out of it satisfied, I guess is the word.
Yes.
Because I didn't leave like, oh, what a waste of my time. But it could have been so much better.
It could have been way better.
I will accept this as the next step, and then I still look forward to the next things that come out, hoping that they learn from what they did wrong here.
Like the one thing that I really like about this movie compared to like Man of Steel, at the end of Man of Steel, I kind of didn't care. Like I was just like, fine. Really like I was just like, okay, whatever.
Give me the next one.
Yeah, I guess give me the next one if you want to. Like if Man of Steel had never gotten a sequel, I wouldn't be sitting here going, boo-hooing about it. I'd just be like, whatever. It's a standalone movie, whatever.
Yeah.
But with this movie, if they decide to cancel Justice League, I'm gonna raise Darkseid. I'm gonna be like, no. You need to keep going with this. I like where you might be going. I like where this is heading.
Yeah. Basically, the last part of the movie is Batman decides he wants to build a Justice League.
Yeah. Spoiler warning. But whatever. Who cares? Which is really cool. Like I like that idea a lot.
And again, the reason for it was not the best, but it's as plausible as you're going to get out of here, I guess. So, again, I'm fine with that. And we already have our introductions to the metahumans.
So I think the way that Warner Brothers is viewing this movie, at least this is the way I think they should view this movie. Was it a success? No. But it did what it needed to do. It got its hands dirty. It brunted the fire of critical backlash.
Yeah.
But it accomplished its job. It got us excited about Justice League.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's what they wanted from it.
It's probably not going to be remembered for the quality or anything, but it was the launch pad enough that it took all the shots. It stood in front with the shield, and it took all the heat so that the next ones can go, more efficient. They can be smoother, because this one had to be rough to get all this stuff in.
Yeah.
But the rest of them can be smoother from here on out.
It was like what this movie was it, and anyone who doesn't say, some people are arguing that you can't compare this movie to Marvel, but that's what they're trying to set up. So I will compare it to Marvel. Like this, they're trying to make an Avengers level movie.
Yeah.
That's what they're setting up. And unlike Marvel, they want to do it really quickly. Is it pretty? No. It's quick, it's dirty. It'll leave you to a degree unsatisfied, but it gets the job done.
Yeah,
and that's what it should. That's what it had to do.
Yeah, so the next ones can do their job proper.
Yes.
So I have a strong suspicion that the following movies will be tighter because they don't have to worry about establishing all of this nonsense. But if we see a pattern developing here, then we have a problem.
And I gotta say, I really hope that they don't try to. I really hope they don't try to do too much with Suicide Squad. I hope that they let Suicide Squad breathe a bit and like do its own thing.
Yeah.
because
It's gotta be its own thing.
They have to. Like we can't keep doing this. Like, Man of Steel, whatever. This movie, all right, it gets the job done. They can't keep doing this, man. I'll let it slide. I'm excited for Justice League, but if they keep this up, if Suicide Squad is just endless setup for other things, or if it's just or it's just like trying to establish all these villains like that.
Yeah. A pattern of setting up movies that will never ever come.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'll give this movie a pass. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's an asterisk
to
on
agree,
there. There's a pass provided that the other ones are better.
Yes.
Because if this is the pattern development right here, and they're all going to be like this, then no.
I agree completely.
But if they can turn it around because they got what they needed out of this one done, then so be it. That's fine.
All right. So let's give it a rating.
Okay. Real quick. That's fine. Rating's fine.
Okay.
Do you think it deserves the backlash that it gets?
No.
Okay,
I
would agree that 33% on Rotten Tomatoes was a little harsh.
Is harsh. If I were to give it, I think it should be more like probably in the 50 range, personally.
Okay, that's probably fine.
50, maybe 60.
Yeah,
because it is, like I said, it is deeply flawed.
Yeah,
but
it has lots of cool bits in it.
Mm-hmm,
it's just
it does.
They're surrounded. They're just drowning in
they're
gray
drowning.
mush.
There's so much. There's just like all of these different things are happening, and all of them are pretty cool, but none of them get a chance to be what they should be. This movie is drowning under its own weight. And that's the biggest problem with the movie, which is what we always said it was going to be.
Yep.
We said this from the beginning that we think you're being too ambitious, and yes, you are.
Yeah. So here at DorkDuo, we'd like to officially say we called it.
yes, we did. We also called it with Fantastic, and we called it here again.
We're good at our job.
Woohoo!
All right, so rating.
Let's give it a rating. I'm thinking, okay, if I was to be extremely generous, like really, really generous, the most I think anyone can give this movie would be a 7. I don't want to give it a 7.
Okay.
I'm thinking a 6 or 6.5, personally.
I don't want to be too generous either. I'll give you that 6.
6?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to grade it by its own merits. We can't grade it on the assumption that it'll be better later by comparison.
Maybe we can retroactively give it a better rating later because it's like, hey, it did its job.
Well, yeah, but that's just it. It did its job. It's done. It doesn't get better later by the other ones. The other ones might be better. So I think that this one is just pretty much stuck at its permanent 6 at the bottom of the used movie bin forever.
Yep, pretty much. But it set things up as it needed. So,
okay.
All right.
So
6.
Well done, DC. You're treading water.
Yeah, right? Oh, so barely.
Marvel has a yacht, but you haven't drowned yet. Good to go. All right. So a little bit of actual news. Only a little bit, because we have like Humble's opinions and stuff. So let's do that.
We really played up our reviews of the other two because, like we said, we don't really have very much news because it's April Fool's Day. Darn it.
Yeah. So everything's a joke.
Yeah.
So let's do
speaking
Miitomo.
Of... Wait, what?
Miitomo.
Oh, you want to do Miitomo first? Okay, so Miitomo got released yesterday, and Steve and I both got it.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's like they're trying to... It reminds me a lot of two things.
I was about to open it and like point it at the microphone like people would see it.
It does a lot of two things. It reminds me of two things a lot. Tamagotchi Life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And...
It's probably the same engine.
Yeah, probably. And also the... what's it called? The Street Pass games on the 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me a lot of that.
Like the sword, the adventure game. And
yeah. It reminds you of that a lot.
Absolutely.
Except without the gaming part.
Yeah, and without the fact that you can
like,
automatically gain friends when you walk by them.
It's
I
just
really
like
wish that was a thing.
It's just like, hey, answer some questions and then get points for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Well, what I assume you're supposed to do is treat this more like a social activity.
Yeah, which is what it's supposed to be.
But at the same time, it basically boils down to playing dress up with your me. So when I downloaded it and I finally fixed it because it errored the first time I opened it and wouldn't open for quite a while.
Apparently, like the game is really glitchy. Like last night I was trying to set it up, I couldn't. I had to set it up this morning because it wouldn't email me for to link it to my Nintendo account, which is really frustrating.
That's probably just because a bunch of people were all doing it at the same time and they had
I think that's why.
But my app just didn't work, so I had to reset it a bunch of times and set it up. So when I first set it up, they'd make you set up your me, or link it to your account or whatever. And then they drop you in a little room wearing prison pajamas, and they say, "Hey, what's your favorite food?" And then you tell them, and then that's the game. Then they give you a bunch of in-game currency, which I use to buy myself some not prison clothes.
I still don't have a shirt. I got pants, and I got shoes, and I got little devil horns.
You probably paid too much money then. See, I bought the cheapest, not ugly option in all the things, so I didn't look homeless. In my tiny one-bedroom apartment with no furniture in it.
Yep.
Because they live in like a 3x3 square area with a beanbag chair and a counter. And he paces around my room, and occasionally he'll have a talk bubble where I can poke him, and he'll ask me a new question. And then I friended you, and you came to my house, and they talked Simlish at each other for a while. And then you asked me a question and told me what your favorite food was. And that's as far as I got. I don't know if there's more to it or not, but it's not grabbing me so far.
Yeah, it's really just like, okay. Like, I don't really know what the point of it is.
If it just ran in the background or something, it might be kind of fun. But I have to, like, turn this thing on and actively, like, friend somebody instead of just doing the Street Pass thing.
I think I like about it, it has, like, the typical Nintendo goofiness. You know,
it's cute and everything, and I got a free Mario hat for doing it in the first week or whatever.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, which is cool. Like, it's like
I'm not gonna wear it though, but I got it. Great.
I don't know. It's just like
if they could do something, like if it came with like mini games you could play with your friends or something.
Yeah, it should be. Like,
why? Okay,
if it was like the Street Pass thing.
The Street Pass thing is this, but better.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Street Pass thing, not only do you not have to actually link with somebody, like, you know, face-to-face, you could just walk past them in a hallway.
Yeah, that's the other thing that really bothers me about it is that, like, you have to be friends with people. You have to actively request people and accept requests in order to do anything with anyone.
Yeah.
That's not okay. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Now, I understand if this did run in the background and you just and it operated like Wi-Fi or something, you'd be picking up people every 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what it should be, but it's not.
Okay, but, like, doing this manually thing is annoying because it's not that hard of a process you just like pick a corresponding shape with somebody and then that person with the shape will match and
I find that needlessly confusing.
It's not confusing at all.
I just think it's dumb.
It's not, but okay.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is that it's pointless and there's nothing to do once you friend somebody other than I learned what your favorite food was.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, you answer questions, you ask questions, and then you get points, like little coins, and then you buy yourself some cool pajamas.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because they make you pick out they make you do like that dumb slidey bar graph thing to like make your personality and junk.
Yeah.
Which I put some time into because I was like maybe it's relevant, and then you do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Same with me. So I made me charming and handsome like I am, and there's no point to it because all he's gonna do is pace around his room, which hits a little too close to home, frankly. So. You know, I play this video game so that I can not live my life that way. And it
makes me sad. I have 3 friends. But one of them hasn't even accepted it yet, and that's my fiance.
Wow.
Because, I have you.
Break it off now,
I have
Adam.
a friend that I requested from high school because I linked it to my Facebook account.
Oh, okay.
And I have my fiance, and that's it. That's all I got. And it's like, so how do I meet people in this? Like,
there's like an online thing.
Is there?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten very far.
But I think you have to request to do it online. I don't know how you do it.
And you know what? I don't. We love Nintendo here. We both know that.
Yeah.
And I think everyone at home should know that too. We love Nintendo, but this just feels completely like a waste of my time. It's just like, what am I doing?
I mean, okay, that's number 3 today. We called it again. This was gonna be dumb.
It was gonna, we called it again. We're doing so well. We thought we heard about it. It was announced. We thought it was gonna be dumb. Now we have it. It's pretty dumb.
It is dumb.
I'm gonna stick with it just because I have nothing. Is this the only Nintendo thing I have on my phone, and that's really cool.
I only downloaded it to see what the hullabaloo
I'm gonna
was
keep
about.
doing it.
I'm not gonna keep it, Adam.
No, you're not.
No, you're gonna lose one of your 2 friends.
Why would you do this to me?
I see you in person. I'll ask you about your favorite food in person.
Just ask me random questions, and then I will say artichokes.
Yeah, I think it's really weird that you can make them talk with that weird robot
it's the
voice.
Same thing.
I know
with,
it's in
Tamagotchi Life.
Yeah, but it's why though?
Yeah, I actually like that part because you can make them really creepy if you want. You could be like, it's me. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm terrified.
Because there's different inflections you can use, and I can make the voice. I just randomed until it kind of looked until it did. Because I don't turn my volume on. I didn't even realize it actually made noise until this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was just like, why do whatever? I thought maybe it was an in-game feature or something.
Nope.
It's just
it's literal audio.
It's just to be upset about. Just a nail on the chalkboard sort of sound to be upset about. I don't know. So I guess the consensus here is it's not very fun.
But the thing is, I like having it on. I like having Nintendo things on my phone, but I can't help but be like,
Get a wallpaper.
you really could have just made a game instead of this like questionnaire that I share with friends. That just seems kind of like a waste of time a little bit, just
Yeah.
okay.
It doesn't really do it for me either, Adam.
Yeah, it doesn't really work for me. So we have a couple other news.
Are we going to bother with those other ones?
Oh yeah, we got a few. Yeah, we got time.
Well, I mean, we got humble opinions and stuff to do.
That's true. We do have humble opinions. I should have asked you. You have one picked out though?
Yeah, it might take a while though, which is why I'm dubious
All right.
about starting more news. Well, it depends. Is there anything like major to
let's
say?
See.
Let's just do the majors.
Okay. I'll just do the major stuff then. So, Batman. There's a Batman solo movie that is rumored to be being made, which is going to be directed by, starring, and written by Ben Affleck.
Self-insert fan fiction of Batman is all it is.
Actually, I'm totally cool with it because, like we were saying earlier, we both love this version of Batman a lot.
Maybe he'll do a good job. Who knows?
Please give me more. Like
Yeah.
I would love. I
don't know
more
if Ben
of this
Affleck
Batman.
can write or direct, but he can be Batman.
He directed Argo, which is a really good movie. So
Which one's Argo?
he won an Academy Award for it.
Right. What is it though?
It's about a hostage crisis in some other country. That
So
I'm
not a
trying to
Pixar
remember.
animated movie
I
about
think
like a
it's
lizard or something.
Iran, I think. No, what? No.
I was thinking
what?
Rango.
Rango. No, no, it's not that.
Rango.
I like Rango.
I didn't like that one.
It's a nice little movie.
I didn't
Really?
like that one that
You don't
much.
like that one?
No. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. There is apparently going to be a new Mutants X-Men spin-off movie. Oh, did I say spin-off? I think I meant to say cash-in movie.
Ching. Ching.
And it may or may not star Maisie Williams. I'm not really sure if it's going to or not. It'd be cool if it did. But I don't know. Do you like the New Mutants? Do you think that the X-Men movies need more?
No. Just stop you right there. No. I don't care anymore, Adam. I don't even care about Apocalypse, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's probably the coolest story they're gonna get.
I know. like that's like literally the best.
Actually, Days of Future Past was pretty cool.
Like Days of Future Past was awesome. That's the thing. Is like I'm good with what I have, but I don't really feel like I need more.
I think the X-Men movies at this point are harmless.
Yeah,
They're not going to set the world on fire, but they're like doing their own thing. So if they come out with one every once in a while, I'll be like,
all right
then.
I mean, maybe X-Men Apocalypse will be pretty good. I hope.
Maybe. I don't
I'd
believe
like
that it
if
will,
did,
to be honest. But who knows? We've been wrong before, like once.
When have we
I don't
been
know.
wrong?
We've never been wrong.
I'm trying to think of when
we're
we were
the best. Well, you've been wrong. I've never been wrong.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of when we were wrong about something. Weren't you kind of down on Ben Affleck being cast as Batman?
Yes, but then I did change my tune on that one.
Yeah, you did. Good.
So I retracted my wrong statement before it was wrong, like a
Okay.
true champion.
Good. Yeah. You got to own it. Say like, you know what? I was wrong. This was great, and it was. So Gambit, that
That's not
movie,
news.
that movie that literally no one cares about, has now delayed its production to late 2016. It was supposed to start in summer.
It's probably because the guy who was running the camera, the audio, and writing the script broke his leg on the way to work or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but this movie, I like Gambit as a character, and I like the idea of Channing Tatum playing Gambit if they do it right. And I don't know if it's ever going to happen now because this movie has faced numerous issues. They lost their director, and then they had to get him replaced, and now they're delaying
Just cut
filming.
the cord, man. It's a solo movie anyway. It doesn't matter.
I mean, heck, there was even I remember there being rumors like last year that Channing Tatum was thinking about leaving the whole project, and it's like, man.
Feel free.
Like this movie, like I don't think most people are pining for a Gambit movie. Like I like Gambit well enough, but don't work so hard for this. Like it's not going to be the most amazing thing ever. Maybe it'll surprise us like Deadpool did. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, anyway.
Disney. Okay, this is important to me, which is why I'm talking about it.
All right, fine.
So, Disney is making an Ahsoka Tano centered Star Wars novel, which is really cool for me because that gives me more fuel for my fire of the 25
That
days.
which I desire.
Hashtag 25 days of Star Wars. Speaking of which, I figure I might as well do this now. I'm now going to announce that this coming week I'm going to be doing another. Not today, but next week I'm going to be doing another 25 days of Star Wars coverage, and I'm going to
Thank goodness.
And I'm going to be covering the second volume of the Star Wars comic book titled "Showdown on Smuggler's Moon." That is the name of the volume, and I'm going to be getting it, and I'm going to be talking about it next week.
Adam, George Lucas doesn't even care about Star Wars as much as you do.
That's probably true now, actually.
Yeah. Washed his hands of that mess.
Yes, he did. And that's all the news we got. So you want to do? You want to
do yours?
Sure, I'll do mine. It shouldn't take actually that long.
Okay.
So, in my humble opinion, Zootopia is great.
Oh, dude, Zootopia is the best.
Zootopia is so good. Oh man, it's just it's wonderful. It's sweet and endearing, and they tackle all kinds of like really interesting like social issues,
really heavy-handedly.
But they didn't get preachy with it. Like well, okay, a little bit, but like
it was a little kumbaya there.
I honestly expected it to be like okay, so the plot of this movie is animals are now people basically. And they live in they're anthropomorphic animals. They live in a zootopia, a utopia, where predators and prey live in harmony and they all work together. And I don't know what they eat, but
yeah, that was the main question we took away with this. Yeah,
I guess they eat fruit and vegetables. And
we saw the prey eating. We never saw the predators eating anything.
Yeah, I know, which is really weird.
Conveniently.
Yeah.
I think the predators all have secret meetings where they just chow down on the weak and the old and the lame.
Probably. But
retirement homes don't exist in that world.
The whole
I'll
movie
let you know.
is meant to be like it's meant to be a what's the word? Parody, not parody. A metaphor. Satire. And it's a metaphor, a satire of racism. But the thing that's cool about it is neither one is outright like one race. Like it's not like they're the prey, they're black people, and it's like no, it's not. It's a metaphor for just.
It's
racism
like that
Dr.
Seuss books with
with
the thing with the star on their chest.
Yeah, it's similar to that
basically.
But what's different about it is that so they set it up as like this bunny is trying to become a cop. And everyone thinks that Judy Hopps.
Yeah.
And she's trying to
Judy.
She becomes a cop, but no one takes her seriously because she's just this tiny little bunny. And she has to like sort of prove to everyone that she is worthy of being a cop, which sounds like the most generic story ever told that you've seen 1,000 times. But what's really cool about it, and the thing I really like about it, is that people treat her in a racist manner. They always are down on her, but she actually. There's a few times where she actually is down on predators. She makes racist comments and she makes like grand assumptions about predators as a whole. She is racist.
It's more like prejudiced than racist.
Yeah, I guess you're right. She is like everyone treats her with prejudice and she treats them with prejudice. And then there's a point where she has to step back and be like, what I did was wrong. I have to like think about this. And like the core message of the movie isn't racism is wrong. It's racism is wrong, but it does happen sometimes, and you have to work against it, and you have to accept that it'll happen sometimes and do your best to fix the problem and to make up for your mistakes, which is a wonderful message in a kids movie.
Isn't it though?
Perfect. It's like it made me so happy. I was just like, I love you, movie. I love it. All of the voice actors are phenomenal. The animation is top notch. It's a wonderful little movie that I can't help but
love. I like Nick too. I like all the characters, honestly.
Yeah, Nick
I didn't
is
see
great.
anybody that I didn't like.
Judy is great. Nick is great. The Lion Mayor is great. Lionheart, who's played by J.K. Simmons. The police chief, what is he, a water buffalo?
Yeah, or a bison or something.
He's
one of those
great.
big things.
The secretary, who is
the cheetah guy, the fat cheetah guy, or leopard.
I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about the lamb.
The lamb. Oh yeah.
She's
I forgot
really
her name.
interesting. I can't remember her name either. By the way, I without spoiling too much, there's this point near the end of the movie where I was just like, wait a second, they haven't revealed who the villain is of the movie, because there's like this whole plot about how predators are going what's the word? Wild. They're going wild.
Devolving, I guess.
Yeah, they're devolving and they're starting to eat people, eat other animals.
The implication is that they're doing that.
Yeah,
that's never actually shown. This is a children's movie.
That's the implication. But and they have to figure out what's going on. And there's this point near the end of the movie where I was like, wait a second, they haven't told us who the villain is yet. There has to be a villain. And then literally I turned to Savannah sitting next to me, and I was just like, I bet you anything so-and-so is going to be the villain. And then literally 20 minutes later, yep.
That's hilarious. That's what my sister did, because I saw it with her, and she's like, I bet they're the villain. And I was like, you're probably right. And then they were. And
Yeah,
it's like, huh.
I was just like, yes.
All right.
Now,
Good job.
that being said, like, it was a little predictable, but it wasn't bad. It was wonderful. I loved every second of it. It was a great little movie, and I really think that people should praise that movie and stop talking about Frozen already, because Frozen is not that great.
Agreed.
So, okay, that's it.
It was good times, man.
It was a good time.
It was real nice.
I enjoyed
Who do
myself
you like?
very much.
Okay, one more thing, and I'm going to leave this up to the folks at home to understand. I already asked you about it, but I got to bring it up again. Are Judy and Nick supposed to be romantically involved?
See, yeah.
Or are they just supposed to be friends?
I don't know, because
you could take it either way.
The end of the movie really leaves it up for grabs. It's just kind of like, I think that it's intended to be open to interpretation. I don't think that they wanted to answer that question. They wanted to like leave it up to you as to whether or not they are. Oh, and actually, while we're on the subject, right before, as I'm pretty much done, it was a great movie, and I really enjoyed watching it. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
Oh, yeah, it's really well.
Pretty much every joke lands, especially every single one of the sloth jokes. Good God.
Flash.
I
Yeah,
was
Flash is
laughing. Good. Yeah, Flash, something 100-yard dash.
Flash.
100-yard dash.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And the end joke near like at the end of the movie when Flash comes back, I almost busted a gut. I was just like, are you serious? I did not expect it. And it was so good. So that's
I actually saw it coming like seconds before it happened.
Oh, really?
And I was like, yes.
It's great.
I knew it.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so yes, Zootopia is great. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, I'll agree. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay,
So.
wonderful. All right. In my humble opinion, Sword Art Online 2 is a pile of disgusting.
I've seen this. I have seen Sword Art Online too.
Oh, good.
Wait, a part of it. Isn't that the one where they go into the fairy world?
No, that's still season 1.
Oh, that is? Wait.
Yeah, season 2 is an entirely different affair.
Is that the one where they go to the gun world?
Yes.
Yes, I have seen that.
Okay.
I have seen that. Okay, cool.
Okay, great. So you're already familiar then.
Yeah.
But I'll explain it to the folks at home. So our famous wooden ventriloquism dummy pretending to be a protagonist, Kirito, who has absolutely no depth or character in any regard.
He's so dumb.
And is a boring fake human being. I'm convinced he's a lizard man from the center of the earth infiltrating Japanese society.
I like him better than the female lead.
Well, we're going to get there in a minute.
All right.
Oakley dokley. Anyway, yes, he's called in by Secret Agent Man, who is apparently from the first show, but I don't remember. Yes.
Agent Man. Okay, continue.
You didn't interrupt me for everything I do?
Yeah.
Or okay, anyway. He gets called back into action by Secret Agent Man, who is like, dude, there's a dude doing the thing where you play the game, you die for real, and he's wearing a spooky Halloween mask and stuff, and it's like, well, that's just not possible. You can't do that anymore. Are you going to let me finish?
Yep.
What was your dumb question?
Before we continue, that was the best rundown of a plot I've ever heard. So,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. So yeah, that's pretty much the deal, but it's in a different game this time, involving guns, so it's basically like Mad Max meets Desert Punk, if you know what those things are.
I don't know what Desert
Doesn't
Punk
matter.
is. Okay.
It's another show about sand. Whatever. So it's a gun game instead of a sword game, basically, but it's the same deal. And he has to go in and infiltrate the gun Super Bowl so that he can save the people from the dying in real life from the Magic Man in the hockey mask who's shooting folks and they die for realsies. And while he's in there, he meets this wonderful little sniper girl who is actually my favorite character in that show because she's actually the only one who's interesting or has any purpose to be. Yes, Adam, what is your question?
I love her so much. So
Thank you for your contribution, Adam. Anywho.
Just for those at home, I raised my hand. So
Thank you, Adam.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on.
I had to know.
Anyway, so Sniper Girl, yes, and they join the Bullet Super Bowl thing to hunt out the guy, which makes absolutely no sense because what are their plans here exactly?
I have no idea.
Kill him in game? Then what?
They're just trying. I guess they're just trying to take him.
Yeah,
they were trying to figure out who he is.
Yes,
so that,
they
like,
were
the
trying to figure out who he
people-
was, but they figured out who the guy was before the thing started because the guy actually confronted our hero before the thing starts. So they knew who he was. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
So they
sorry.
knew who he was. So basically how it turned out to be is he was actually not killing them in-game, but had a person in the real world go to people's houses, so when their avatar died in the game, they would be killed at the same time by the person in real life. So that's no big deal. So basically, him and the sniper girl all team up together, and she actually has interesting character flaws and goals and whatnot, and she has to use this gun game because when she was a child, she was a part of a robbery and then got the gun away from the robber and shot him when she was like 9, and she's traumatized by guns now, so she's using this as like a cure for that or something, and she can't do it in real life, but she's great in the game and all sorts of nonsense like that. And then in the real world, when she wakes up, the guy's there and he's going to murder her, and then Kirito comes in and rugby tackles him and saves the day, and she hits him with a microwave or whatever, and then he gets arrested and they get the guys in la-di-dolls taken care of.
Yep.
So
sounds about right.
That was about 14 or 15 of the episodes of this 24-episode series.
Yep.
Because
that was the good part.
Because this show was paced by chimps, and not only and they're pulling a Legend of Korra, and they're trying to get so many different little ideas into one thing instead of just making a different season for all of them.
Like, wait, when did?
Because Legend of Korra is each season's a different problem that all could have been one big overarching thing that would have made the show vastly better. Any one of those random 4 seasons of plots could have made a better show than
except for the second one.
Whatever. I'm just saying if they had expanded on any of them instead of just making them one season each.
My favorite one is the third.
Congratulations.
Continue,
Anyway.
yeah.
Anyway, so now there's a second arc. And this arc is about they're back in Narnia or Tamriel or what Hyrule or whatever, the fairy place, and they find a secret dungeon that
I hate the fairy place. It's the worst. It's like my least favorite of the 3 places they go to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Continue.
I'm gonna need you to put a muscle on it, Adam.
Let's see how far I can push Steve to the brink of insanity. All right.
Anyway, so the next mission that they have is they're going to go to the roots of Yggdrasil, the world's tree, and they have to stop the frost giants from freezing everything and stop the fire giants from coming up from the world underneath that. And all of that, at the end of that, is to go get Excalibur. Putting aside how irksome it is that those are entirely different mythologies, that bugged the hell out of me the whole time. I was like, that doesn't belong there. So one episode, they fight their way through the super tough dungeon, which was setting up for a very interesting plot, and they get to the boss room in one episode. And they struggled more on the fight the way there than they did the actual boss fight. And then they meet some random NPC who is some fairy girl locked in an ice cage, and they free her, even though they know it was totally a trap. And then they go into the boss room, and the king of the ice giants, or frost giants, is there. And he's like, blah, 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 let's fight. And she's like, blah, 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 fight you. And then Kirito finds Mjolnir randomly lying around, and it turns out that girl was Thor. And then he shows up for like 10 seconds to help fight, and then they give Mjolnir to a B-roll character who never uses it. If you got Mjolnir for free, I think you'd like to use that, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Being a he's like,
yeah.
Oh, but it's a hammer. And it's like, well, that's an amazing thing you just got there for freezies, I might add. And then Kirito gets Excalibur at the end, which he uses once. One time. It's the most magical thing in the whole game, apparently, because it was his whole goal, and then it turns out his strength stat wasn't even strong enough to lift it or whatever, but I guess it was later when he finally used it. One time he used it.
Yep.
That little arc right there was done in 2 episodes. That whole arc was 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. Why was it there? He only uses Excalibur once, and it didn't even matter in the time he used it, because it could have just been any old sword, because we saw him fight for like 6 seconds after that. And also, what's his name, the samurai guy, who's barely important, gets Mjolnir and never uses it again. He probably hocked it, actually, for the sweet in-game gold. So, and there's only one of them, I have to assume, because this seems like the kind of game where there's only one of every awesome item. So that's like a one-of-a-kind thing he's got there. This team has 2 legendary weapons that they just keep in reserve. Like, it's like playing RuneScape and only using, like, a bronze dagger because you don't want to get, like, your mithril sword rusty, even though it can't. Excuse that analogy.
Oh,
but, like, it baffles me that he never uses it more. And there's no pomp or circumstance to it. He just pulls it out one time, and he's like, okay, time to fight. And it's like, but why did we need these 2 episodes? This is entirely irrelevant. And Sniper Girl's just randomly there now. She joined the fairy game.
Because they're friends now.
I know, but I would have actually enjoyed seeing an episode where she transfers over and has to deal with, like, swords instead of shooting dudes with bullets. It's an entirely different game experience, you know? That would have been a cool episode. Plus, she's my favorite character in that mess. So I would have liked to actually see something come of that. Because that little entourage of characters they have, first of all, this bugs the heck out of me. All their avatars don't look like their real-life selves. So I always get confused about who's who in the real world because they all look the same. except for in-game when they have colorful anime hair, like they all should have because they're protagonists in an anime. But whatever, that doesn't matter. The third series is really where it matters, because not only does that one suck the most, even more than the 2 episode one, but it's not even about the main character anymore. It's about the girl, whatever her name was.
Asuna?
That's her. Yeah. She sucks the most. She has even less personality.
I know.
And to this point, she wasn't even as good at fighting as him, so she has nothing to bring to the table, other than she's a different character, technically. Character in the biggest air quotes allowed. Like, I don't understand why it was about her. So, what?
All right, this just ties back into my biggest problem with Sword Art Online is that it's such a fantastic idea. It's such a novel concept that they completely fail at every possible turn.
Every turn.
Everything they make
blow
blatant,
it.
like obvious mistakes where it's like, dude, this could have been a phenomenal show if you had actually. I said it again.
You did.
Dang it. Yeah, whatever. Okay. It could have been such a wonderful show, and then they decide to just blow it and make it like boring and dumb. Like in the first season, when they set up this whole really awesome like arc where they're gonna try to like get to like the top level, like the 100th floor.
Yeah.
And then the second episode they skip like 50 floors.
Yeah.
What was the point? I thought that was the whole point of the
show.
show.
They also didn't even make it to the top. They made it to like 68 or something.
Yeah. Such a waste of opportunity. Anyway,
I would agree.
You can go back now. I just wanted to say how much I hate this show.
So anyway, the next plot is about the girl. And
Asuna,
yes, Asuna. And not only does she bring nothing to the table, but her story has nothing to do with any of the other characters. So basically what happens is they're all hanging out in their virtual world doing their virtual homework together because, God forbid, we spend time in the real world. Actually, that's another thing that really bugs me about these next 2 seasons. The Ice one specifically, there's no stakes.
Yeah.
The main draw of like the reality of this is like, okay, you can die for real if you die. That was in the first season.
Yeah.
And in the second one, or in the gun game one at least, there was like that one guy who was killing folks.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
But in like the Ice World one, who cares? Yeah. Like, okay, I get that they wanted to get Excalibur because he really, really needs it, and I get that like they want it because like the plot reason for this is because if they don't do it, the ice giants or whatever will destroy the whole world. Who cares? It's just a game. Nobody dies. Like, I get you probably put a lot of time into it because, God forbid, that you spend any time in the real world because you're really boring in real life.
They really are.
They really are boring in real life. But it's like, go to a different one then. Who cares if you lose today? Like, if I was playing a game and it got corrupted or something, I'd be bummed. But my life's not over.
I also hate that this show does the stupid like anime trope of having the one female cousin be like head over heels in love with her male cousin.
They're like adopted or something. But yes, I know what you mean.
I don't care.
I know.
It just pisses me off.
I know. It doesn't happen so much in the second season, though.
I know that. That's why I actually like the second season more than the first. That's because the first left me like with such a bad taste in my mouth. I was so sour on it. I was just like, that was such a missed opportunity.
Well, the 2's not any better.
I would say it's a little bit better.
Okay.
Mostly just for the gun game, which I thought was a nice change of pace.
I like how he still has a sword in there, though.
Yeah.
Because we
got
do
like a lightsaber.
Because too much change at one time is unhealthy. So, yeah, and then season 3 here's about the girl. So what happens is a brand new exciting swordsman comes to town, and this person's just real good at sword fighting. And for some reason, Kirito is not... Kirito?
It's Kirito.
Whatever, yeah. The guy who wears black everywhere.
Yeah.
Because he needs to pick out a new color, seriously.
Yeah, he really does.
Whatever.
The whole point of his wearing black in the first season was that he was standing apart, and he was being sacrificey, and he was... he was gonna be like the lone warrior, who does all this stuff, and now he still wears black, which even though he's working with all these other people, that doesn't make any sense.
Everybody else has interesting color schemes and costumes, but
he should really get
stuck in his Hot Topic phase.
Like, I mean, if they decided to like add like a little bit of color, add some red to it or something,
accents or something.
Yeah,
yes.
something.
But no,
to make
black
him...
and white only.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Where do you even find an all black sword?
No idea.
I don't know. Whatever. That doesn't matter though. So yeah,
Avatar.
Yeah,
Avatar had
fair
it.
enough. Fair enough.
But that was like a
meteor
big thing. It was a meteor. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the new sword person comes to town. Turns out it's like an 11-year-old girl, and she beats up Kirito for no reason other than the plot demands it.
Which is ridiculous.
Yes, it is. And then the girl steps up to the challenge because we need to make this episode about her now. And she doesn't win the fight, but she holds her own long enough for the person to go like, hey, that's cool. Join my team because we need somebody, and the script says it's you. So welcome aboard. High five for team plot device. And then she meets the rest of the guild, and it turns out this whole guild wants to all beat one boss by themselves, which is apparently a big deal. And then the whole 3 episodes after that is just planning to do that. But it's okay because it turns out they're all dying. Everybody in that guild is like in a hospice together, and they all have like leukemia and AIDS. The one girl, the main girl who like the super good sword, she has AIDS. That's a very real thing. You can't just drop that in the middle of this child's fun fantasy anime. That's a real thing, man. You can't just be like, oh yeah, she's dying from AIDS.
As much as I hate Asuna, and I thought that like there's no reason for her to be like the main character of this part, I actually thought that was kind of a cool part. Like it was actually sad, and it was like, yeah,
but it's
all right,
way out of place. Such a different tone from the rest of the show.
That's true.
And it's like it's too real, man. Like, okay, if they were all dying from like, mysterious persistent cough disease or something like most sick people have in shows like that.
It was AIDS is kind of like
that's just
whoa.
It's too real, man. But whatever. So AIDS, yes, and then spoiler alert, she dies at the end of the show. And like the entire world,
really sad.
The entire world comes to her funeral in game anyway, because she's like world famous.
As much as I can admit that all the flaws you're pointing out are real, I was really sad when she died.
It was moderately sad. I was entirely detached from the situation because I did not care about the people participating because it was an entirely new cast of characters all of a sudden they expected me to care about. And they tried to give them all like really quirky personality to like differentiate them all. The only one I remember is the guy with the glasses because he was afraid of women because somebody had to be and there hadn't been one yet. And then there was like the girl with the short hair who was like the tomboy one, but she didn't get any fleshing out either. And then there was the guy with the mace who was just like the stoic type. Exactly. The stoic type one. And then there was the other guy who had no personality at all. And then there was the girl who looked like one of the elves from Lord of the Rings who didn't die but was supposed to be dying, and then there was the other one who just dies, and that was her sole exciting point. And yeah, it's real sad how she spends her entire life basically on drugs and hooked up to a machine so she can be a normal girl or whatever. That's sad, but that's an entirely different kind of show, man. You can't just drop that in the middle of my Narnia adventure.
I agree.
We just got finished pulling Excalibur out of Idrisil.
It was an interesting story, and I think it was like fun to see, but it did not fit with the rest of the show at all. It was just such a tone shift.
That's only the in-game story, because the outer game story in the real world is also about the girl, and it's basically just about shut up, mom. You don't just understand the young people problems of video games.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That
was dumb.
Yeah, because there was a rich girl forced marriage thing. Because of course there is. Because any rich female in anime is going to be trying to be pawned off by her parents. It's a fact. Like, guaranteed every time. And then all the friends have to step in and save her, like, that's going to change her mind. But they didn't this time. She solved it herself with video games. Which all you have to do is take your mom give your mom an Oculus Rift and show her a peaceful scene of some snowy trees, and that'll make her change her mind about what a horrible person she was being the entire time.
I know. Yeah,
and that was it. That was basically the crux of it, was just, you don't understand my problems. I don't want to go to your fancy pants art school. I don't want to get married. I'm going to marry this piece of wood pretending to be a protagonist. And you can't tell me nothing about it, Mom, in your face. That was it. That was the whole outside plot. And she unplugged her that one time just to show how serious things were.
I would think that entire plot was really dumb, but I did like the scene where the mom actually went into the world. I thought that was kind of nice.
Did you notice that they actually introduced that what's-her-face, Asuna, actually has 2 game profiles, because before she was going to go fight the person, they asked her which profile she was going to use, and that was solely set up just for that moment so the mom would have a player to play as.
I actually didn't realize that.
Well, you probably didn't binge it like I did, but no. Okay, well, that was set up just for that.
I watched this
What was the point of that whole scene? Why was the point of any of it? Just give me more sword fights in Fantasyland, seriously. Yeah. That's all I came for. You already blew it with the plot.
Yeah, and I don't really just.
And I don't know what spider monkeys were writing the show. But
that show is like, okay, let's come up with the coolest, most like interesting novel premise that we can think of.
Exactly.
And then let's completely just make it like generic and boring. Let's do that.
Exactly.
Like it's such
and then
a
cut it
waste.
abruptly short, and then make another thing about that with a similar, almost exactly the same premise to an almost admirable degree, like they were making one of the Hangover movies, and then it's like, and then just not pay it off,
and then mess it up again,
and then mess it up again,
It's
and then
like-
do it 3 times in one season
I
because they
swear that
wrote
show-
7 different shows and they had a quota to fill.
I swear that show is like it's designed to be trolling us. It's like, let's make them as interested in it as possible and then make it as dumb as possible. Like,
Okay, like I understand that Sword Art Online is like entry-level anime,
yes, it is.
but like
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. Despite what folks say about Attack on Titan,
It's not that
it's
great.
not that great.
One Punch Man, though.
One Punch Man is the best
One
show.
Punch Man rocks.
Yeah, whatever. There's nothing so mimetic about Attack on Titan as there is One Punch Man. But I digress. The point is, entry-level anime, but you still have to make it good and cohesive, and coherent. You can't just be like, here's 3 different plots in one show
my mind,
about characters nobody cares
In my
about.
mind, I don't know if anyone agrees with me.
Give me the sniper girl back.
If someone-
she got dropped from the plot
She was
entirely.
so awesome, and then they just like, and it's done. Now we're just gonna do Asuna because
And it's
everyone
gone.
loves Asuna,
Exactly.
right?
You know that?
No
yeah,
one does.
You know that person who spent 60% of the last show in a cage? She's coming back, and she has a part now.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yay.
just ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, she was good in Sword Art Online 1, as far as you could be good in that show, but nobody was good in that show.
Yeah, no,
she was
nothing.
decent in that first one,
That
but they
show-
didn't pay it off at all.
That show occasionally showed signs of being interesting, and then
Yes.
it just completely
accidentally,
botched it
they
over and over.
accidentally, a human was recruited into the planning process instead of machines, and they accidentally got some
See,
free
to
will and
me,
creativity
I think
in there.
The perfect launch launching anime. I have 2. One is actually no, more just one is
What do you mean launching?
like if you're starting an anime, if you want to start watching anime but you don't know how to begin, I think the perfect one is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That is such a wonderful show. It's like if you actually watch the whole thing, it's easy to understand. They make it understandable and engaging, and all
Okay,
the
that's
characters,
fair.
all
I
the
suppose.
characters are fully fleshed out, and like there isn't any like huge plot holes or anything that I can think of.
Yeah. I was gonna say one of the big 4, but I suppose those are really long.
Those are
You
too
can't-
long.
Yeah, you
like,
can't
you
get-
can
yeah.
you can get through Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in like a week. Like if you actually binged it, I mean, heck, you could probably do it in like a couple days if you really
What is it,
wanted
like
to,
50
but-
episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
Yeah.
It's just long enough to be engaging while being like. I can't even speak right now. I sound like an idiot, but it's just long enough to be engaging, but at the same time not boring. Like
Sure.
like Naruto, is constantly like moving the pace along like as slowly as they can. It's just like, let's go over
Filler arc.
here. It's like Naruto is being written by the sloths from Zootopia. It's like let's make it just so incredibly boring.
See,
and
I don't
dull.
agree with that analogy. I feel like Naruto was written out coherently in a straight line, and then somebody came in and said, we can't make enough money with just those episodes.
I guess
Here's
it's- yeah.
6 gallons worth of filler content to just pour over the top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in
Actually,
the middle of a cool arc right now? Let me just fill that in with 6 or 7 episodes.
It's really true.
Here's a flashback
actually.
episode. Can't get enough flashback episodes. Here's a 10-10 episode, because everyone's favorite character is 10-10.
Everyone's favorite character is Ted. It's really true. But like Full Metal Alchemist is perfect. The other one that I really like, but I don't like showing to people if they have never seen anime before because it is such a weird, different show and isn't like any other anime.
Well, okay. If you haven't watched anime before, there's no anime that's not anime-y enough. That you
I don't
can
know.
get
The
into.
one I think of is Cowboy Bebop. That one's not really.
All right, that's
an
actually fair
anime.
because that's not even really an anime.
It's not really an anime. It's just like one of the greatest animated shows of all time that happens to also be an anime, but it's not a traditional anime in any way.
It's good.
It's awesome.
It's pretty good.
It's perfect.
It's pretty good.
We're not going to agree.
We're not.
Let's
no.
do WhoDaWin. Let's move
Okay.
on to WhoDaWin.
All right, that's fine.
So
here we go.
Let's do this.
Oakley dokley. This bag is broken again. I mean, chalice is broken again.
The chalice, we are not worthy. We have to
Yep, that's-
purge dark thoughts from our mind.
We should stop interrupting people. That's probably one of them.
I tried to get to the bottom this time. Isaac Clarke. I guess we haven't seen him in a little while.
There you go. Kirby.
Kirby.
All right. Let's see. What
I'm
are we going
still
to do?
excited for Planet Robobot.
Yep.
I'm still psyched for that. Waiting for it.
Dumb name though.
Don't care.
Pie eating contest.
Oh,
Get
no,
on my level.
No,
Get on my level.
This is not fair, man. Anything that's involving food.
The fates have decided.
Man, that's a bunch of nonsense. All right, fine.
Give me your loser, Isaac Clarke.
Kirby wins, no question. In the pie eating contest, Kirby
wins everybody's
Kirby
pie
is like
eating
a
contest.
link to another dimension that is infinite. Of course, he wins the pie eating contest.
I choose not to believe that that's canon, but yes.
Oh, hey, Lex Luthor. Should we do it? Let's make it
just for funsies.
Yeah, let's make it BVS Lex Luthor. There we go. That'll be fun.
I got Harry Potter.
Yeah, they're both whiny and annoying.
Fair enough.
Actually, I love Harry Potter, but
I did like Harry Potter, but I won't go back and watch them anymore.
Oh,
they were good.
Well, I actually read the books.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
All right, okay.
Nope, that's bad.
Most convoluted plan.
That's a good one.
I win.
Most overpowered.
In
far as what?
I don't know.
Because magic beats not magic.
Magic beats not magic.
He has resources
he's super rich, and he's like supposed to be like a crazy awesome genius who's so good at planning that he can not foresee what will happen after Doomsday kills Superman. But you know, whatever.
True.
Yeah, I don't want BVS Lex Luthor to win pretty much anything unless it's like worst character ever award.
Harry Potter wins.
So Harry Potter wins. Actually, I'm being a little too unfair. He wasn't the worst thing ever. He was just pretty close.
Not like death bad, but like traumatic beating at the very least.
What is this? Aquaman. You know what? While we're at it, let's make it BVS Aquaman.
Okay, I got Vegeta, but we don't know anything about BVS
What do you mean?
Aquaman.
We know that he likes to stare at the camera and then
for
zoom
a long
away.
time.
Yeah, that was such a stupid scene.
Death battle.
Vegeta
destroys Aquaman.
Really?
Absolutely.
Does Aquaman have sort of like an accelerated healing or anything? I mean, he's like a...
Yeah, you accelerate my Big Bang attack across your face.
But, like, Aquaman's taken a few hits through his life.
Yeah,
like, he's
has.
not weak in any way.
No, but I could vaporize you with my mind.
Yeah, but Vegeta is like just like a worse Goku.
Even a worse Goku is still pretty close to a Goku.
He's just a lame Saiyan. He's not even very good.
He's like the second best.
To, like,
what are you talking about?
He has to like cheat his way to getting to like Super Saiyan 3, and he has to cheat his way into getting to Super Saiyan 4. He has to like shoot a moon at him, or I don't remember all the details.
Okay.
But
you know, he's Super Saiyan God now, though. Legit, though.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. I haven't seen that yet.
Well, he is.
So.
And even without that, Super Saiyan 1, we plenty to deal with Aquaman.
Okay.
Especially that Aquaman.
Yeah. I did kind of shoot myself in the foot by making it Aquaman who just stares at cameras.
Yeah.
And then zooms
deer in the
away.
headlights Aquaman.
Yeah, deer in the who has glowing eyes for some unknown reason.
Just see underwater.
Of course.
Okay. So Vegeta wins.
Yeah, Vegeta wins.
Get wrecked.
Have I won any of these? No, I have
Nope.
not. I have lost every one so far.
Have you tried getting good?
Let's try it. Well, I keep getting DC characters and making... Okay, Yugi and the Pharaoh. Here we go.
I want to trade.
Okay.
I always get Yugi. That's the deal.
It's like the thing. Raven. All right, I can live with Raven. Well, I've gotten, like, that's the third DC character I've gotten. What is going on?
As it was written. Alrighty. What do we got here?
At least I can't make it BVS Raisin because BVS does not have Raven.
Thank goodness.
That's one of the only characters they don't have.
Well, we got best character design as far as looks go. And
wait, what was yours again? Pharaoh? Okay.
Yugi and the Pharaoh.
Yeah, Yugi. Oh man, Raven totally. Raven totally.
Raven.
Raven's wonderful. Raven looks
Yugi's
great.
Character design is not good.
Yugi's character design, like his hair alone is just ridiculously
His
stupid.
hair is a national treasure.
His hair could take a man's eye out.
Yes, exactly, and
That's
send
not
them
a
to the
good
Shadow
thing.
Realm.
It's not a good thing. That's a bad
But Raven
thing.
has a cloak and a hood, which is the best kind of character design.
And a really cool belt.
And a very cool belt. And a leotard.
Yes. Dr. Nefarious.
There you go.
Excellent.
Sonic.
Sonic.
All right, Sonic. What are you going to do?
He's going to go really fast.
Thank you, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to get the one we haven't done yet. Oops. I dropped it.
What?
I dropped it.
Oh.
World Whack-A-Mole Champion?
Well...
Probably Sonic.
No, Sonic. He's crazy fast. So I've won one of these. I won.
Bad at this game.
You're
bad at this luck of the draw game, Adam.
Yeah. This game is not helping me very much at all.
Well, get good.
get good. Okay. Solid Snake. I have not played Metal Gear Solid. I'm sorry. Still, I intended to get Metal Gear Solid 5, but I never actually got around to it. So I probably will. Probably.
Dumbledore.
We haven't seen Dumbledore before.
Yet. Hooray!
Yes.
A new name.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Did you add more in? You must have.
No.
Oh.
That was still from before. We just never got him.
You just never got him. Oh.
Most likely to create a masterpiece.
A masterpiece? Okay, well, Solid Snake isn't exactly artistic.
Well, define masterpiece. Because a masterpiece can also be for craftsmen. So.
And he does crafting, doesn't he?
Crafts bullets with faces.
And, like, he executes plans perfectly. I think he's a good planner of covert ops missions.
No, he's got Otacon for that.
Oh.
He's more of just the guy who holds the gun. Or the neck, depending.
Well, but I mean, like, Dumbledore can do all kinds of crazy
Yes, he sure
masterpieces.
can.
He can, like, craft anything.
He made a sweet staircase that's an eagle that opens with the word sherbet lemon.
Yeah, he did.
So that's good enough for me. That's a
I'm
masterpiece
amazed
if
you
I ever
remembered
seen
all
one.
that. Wow. I didn't even remember the sherbet lemon thing.
I think it's funny because it says sherbet lemon.
I have not read or watched Harry Potter in years and years.
Come on, man.
I know, but Cole McGrath. I love Cole McGrath. He's like one of my favorite video game protagonists out there.
Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
I still think Cole could win.
You don't even know what we're doing yet.
I don't care. Doesn't matter. Cole could
Being
win.
a dragon, you lose.
God, dang it. So
My
close.
one weakness. With the lantern cores again. Okay.
Not the lantern cores. No. Not the lantern cores. Also,
no.
Cole McGrath could totally be a Green Lantern. Just saying.
Could he now?
He'd be totally good.
Most likely to catch them all.
And if Cole McGrath became a Green Lantern, then it would basically just being like combining Shazam and Green Lantern into one character, which would be great.
Well, I would say more like Static Shock than sure about Shazam, but whatever.
Debate. That's fair, but still.
But anyway, most likely to catch them all. Probably the guy with the hands.
Yeah, the guy who can actually hold
They make
Pokeballs.
a good team, though, because Go Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is really the trump card you need.
But then you
Go Pikachu, Volt Tackle.
No.
Burst stream of destruction.
No, definitely not, because if you're trying to catch Pokemon, you need someone who's relatively weak, who can weaken the Pokemon, and then you can throw the Pokeballs
Well, I was
at it.
thinking in the sense of the anime, where all you have to do is basically kill them, and then you can catch them.
Well, I'm thinking in sense of the video games, which is, in my opinion, the only thing Pokemon-related worth consuming.
Okay. So then.
Adam
has spoken, I guess.
am not a fan of the Pokemon show. I am sorry. No, I'm not.
If it was Digimon, you would be.
Yeah, I am a fan of the Digimon
If you had to catch
show.
Agumon.
Yes. Actually, but no, because they're like sentient beings, and that's kind of messed up.
Pokemon aren't sentient?
Not really.
What do you mean, not really?
Not really. They don't talk. They don't have...
I don't think you have to talk to be sentient.
They don't have feelings. They're animals.
Okay.
They're just creatures.
Adam supports animal cruelty. You heard it here first.
No. I'm just trying to make fun of Pokemon, really, even though I love Pokemon. The games. Of course, I don't see my Pokemon as like things. Like, I don't do the Pokemon Ami thing. I used to do the Pokemon Ami thing and make them love me. Now I just make them go through rigorous training sessions before I even throw them out of their Pokeball. So they're like in the Pokeball going through like boot camp. And then only once they're done there will they be allowed to ever come out of the Pokeball, and that's only in battle. So
what a great trainer you would have made.
Yeah, I'm a way to go, Gary person.
You're a Gary Oak.
Yeah, kind of am.
Congratulations. All right, let's just call it here.
All right, yep. So that'll be the end of this episode.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Amazingly, next week we don't have any huge looming things to talk about like Daredevil or BVS, so that's a plus.
But April Fools will be over. So
April Fools will be over, so hopefully we'll have news that time. So I'm excited. And again, if you want to follow along with me and either read or reread what was it? Showdown on Smuggler's Moon, which is the Star Wars Volume 2, you are welcome to join me, and we will talk about it next week. So I'm excited. You should be excited.
Thank you.
I hope you're excited.
Super.
Yeah, I know.
You can hear it in my voice. Toodaloo, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.